I'm causing mayhem every motherfucking Mondays from now on, and I want y'all to bring it. No, you got your man out there doing bigger and better things, okay? And I blame, Trey asked a good question. How did it get so bad? I blame y'all. Because y'all been sitting on the fucking sidelines, letting these women do this bullshit, not setting boundaries, not telling women no, fuck off. And that's why we do what you allow us to do. You are one I love to hate and hate to love, but at the end of the day, I love you, baby girl. Come on the panel, let's go, please. Let's go. You're going to be emotional, but you might go back limping. What's going on? What's going on to all my embracers? This is Grace from Embrace the Grace on the Black Man Unfiltered Network, causing mayhem. You know this every Monday night. I got a good one on for you tonight, and I better just put it out there now. If this shit doesn't apply to you, let it fly. If it triggers you, then you better get a mirror and take a good, long, hard look at yourself, because the reason I'm doing this show tonight is because Father's Day is coming up. And a lot of y'all trifling ass mothers think that y'all could do the job of a mother and a father. But what you're really doing is traumatizing these children. And I'm going to get vulnerable with y'all tonight. Okay? And I'm going to give you a little bit of what I've been through, because I think we've all got trauma with our mamas. We really do. And it's sad. And what's even sadder is that we don't hold these trifling ass mothers accountable for their bad behavior. See, one thing I can say is what my mother taught me to do is what not to do when I have a child. So I'm hoping, thank you, Take Heed. I appreciate it. It's my favorite color. So I'll give a shout out to the roll call later, but this is a touchy subject, and I know a lot of people going to get in their feelings, but I don't give a fuck. Because again, a lot of our children are out here lost in the sauce, traumatized, toxic, hurt people, don't know how to be in relationships, don't know how to be good parents, and it all starts at the house. And the number one troublemaker to all this BS is the mother. When, to me, she should be your backbone. She should be the one that uplifts you and that nourishes you. But no, it's not that way, guys. And you know what? This is not, and I'm gonna put this shit out there right now because I'm sick of it. It's not just in the Black community. It is in every fucking community. We got sorry ass mamas in every community. White, Black, Hispanic, polka dot, Martian, purple, Black, whatever the case may be. I have seen a lot. As a basketball coach for 18 years, I've seen a lot of trifling ass mothers. I've seen it, I've experienced it, and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for these women. I'm embarrassed to say that God blessed them with such a blessing of a child, because that's what a child is. A child is a blessing. I had wanted a baby since I was 15 years old, but that wasn't going to happen with a strict Sicilian dad at the house. I didn't get pregnant till I was 30. But the fact remains is that there came a point where I didn't know if I could have children. And I would hate Mother's Day. I wouldn't go to baby showers. I hated my friends that would go and get deletions like it was going to a candy store, and then get upset why, when they were ready to have a baby, couldn't get pregnant because there was so much scar tissue there. You know, karma's a bitch. It really is. So this topic is close to me because I nicknamed my mama Mommy Dearest. If any of y'all know that movie about Mommy Dearest, that was my mama. You know what I'm saying? It was bad, but I thank God for my daddy. You know what I'm saying? He kept shit together. He was the glue in the family. He was the head of household. You know, my mama was the type of parent that'd be like, wait till your father get home. She wouldn't handle shit when it came to us. I mean, sometimes if she had a wet rag, a hanger, I remember she had a horse whip. She threw a 5-pound salami at my ass and hit my neck, and it made me go forward, open the screen door, and the school bus is waiting right there for me in front of my house. And everybody on the bus saw that. I mean, whatever she had in her hand, all bets were off. And only because I said to her, so? She said something to me and I walked away and I said, so? Oh, I ain't never said so in my life again. I'll tell you that much. My mama didn't play, but she did a lot. It was a lot of mental abuse, a lot of verbal abuse, body shaming. And this is a lot of shit that us mothers do. And I'm calling y'all trifling ass mothers out. Stop it. You're damaging our children. If you are one of these mothers, recognize it, rectify it. Take your ass to counseling. Stop it. Because it's people like us, coaches, teachers, mentors, that have to turn around and come clean up your goddamn mess. I'm tired of cleaning up other people's mess. If you weren't ready to have kids, then you should have kept your legs closed. Marry before you carry. Marriage before the baby carriage. Children deserve a mother and the father in the household. And I don't want to hear this bullshit from these women in the chat talking about, well, the black man is leaving the women. No. Women have 34 forms of contraceptives. It is up to us if we get pregnant or not. It is up to us to allow a man to go in without protection. We are the final deciders. If a man tells you, I don't want any children, then why would you allow him to shoot up the club? And then get mad when he tells you he don't want nothing to do with the child. Like, did you forget that conversation? And yes, let me put a disclaimer to my men. The responsibility falls on you as well. I have a son. And you want to know what I told him? I said, first of all, you never use condoms from a female. I don't trust them hoes. They put pinholes in them. They mess up the integrity of the condom if they're trying to catch you. And then I also told him, flush it. Don't put it in the trash can. Flush it. Get rid of it. See, these are things that we got to talk to our kids about and keep it real. Running around here 15, 16, 17-year-old pregnant. Really? And then you get these young babies having babies, don't know shit about raising babies, and then want to take it out on them because their childhood or their young adult life was taken from them. They can't go to the club. They can't find a babysitter. That's because your ass couldn't keep your legs closed. And if you did open them, you didn't take the precautionary steps to avoid getting pregnant. So because you made bad decisions and bad choices in your life, you want to turn around and be a trifling ass mother and take it out on that child. That child didn't ask to come be in this world, but you forced it upon. So we gonna get into it. We gonna get into it because Father's Days, Lady D, do you know how you look and sound as a woman? Women are supposed to be empathetic and kind. You as bad as your man. No, Lady D, see, that's the problem. That's the fucking problem. I am not gonna uphold women in their bad fucking behavior. No, that's not my job. My God tells me that I need to teach the younger women. I am not gonna uphold anybody in their wrongdoing. So you got me fucked up. You really do. That's the problem why women keep doing bad behavior, because nobody calls them out on their shit. Well, I'm here. My queen, take heed to the messages here. I wouldn't want any of my sons bringing a woman like this to my house. I'm just saying. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't want any of your soft ass sons anyway, Lady D. Okay, I don't do sips. So moving on.
Facts you're about to get?
Oh, let me go ahead and do roll call real quick. And I have to do roll call in 2 channels. First, of course, we're going to do it in the Black Man Unfiltered. Thank you for allowing me to have my show and be myself on this show. So we got, of course, my queen, take heed to the message. I know she's there with her king and y'all listening to me. Salute to you guys. And again, thank you for that support. That really got me started. I was listening a little bit to my Key Sweat, sipping on some wine, and then that came through. I'm like, okay. Then we got grooming and reviews. And then we got who started with the BS? Lou Medic. Yo, you are funny. He said this couch is mentally impacted. That was funny. That was funny. Who else we got? We got Joshua. Thank you for coming. Damn, I forgot Father's Day is coming. Guess I'm taking the kid fishing. I know that's right. Okay, let me check my channel, see who's there. Have anybody come up? Hi, my beautiful Milan. How you doing? Wagwan, DJ Sting. How you doing, my dear? Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. My brethren from Jamaica. He's in Florida right now. He's always been a big supporter of mine. I appreciate you coming through. Thank you so much. So with that being said, I have a couple videos. There was a couple that I was really, really trying to find, but for some reason, I was so aggravated that I changed my whole system of when I find videos. You know, these women be trying to raise their sons, women, and they should be trying to raise that animal they call a son. Well, I don't know who you calling a son an animal, but if you keep talking the way you're doing, I'm going to snipe your ass. Okay, because if you're not bringing anything constructive to this show or to this conversation, you can leave, Lady D, because you have nothing good to say. Nothing. Hi, Trey. How are you? Hola. You know, you just live a miserable life. You sit here on these panels and all you do is talk shit and have nothing constructive, positive, enlightening, uplifting, motivating, encouraging to say. You, I can officially say, suck. You really do. You really do. And there goes my grooming and reviews. How you doing, my Greek freak?
What is going on?
Nothing much. You know what's going on Monday nights at Black Man Unfiltered. It's Monday Night Mayhem.
And this is probably one of my favorite times of the day.
Yeah, because, you know, Father's Day is coming, and then they have the audacity to get up when the preacher says, all fathers, please get up. Talking about I'm doing both jobs of a mother and a father. Just go sit your ass down.
And
okay?
That's the fucking problem we have in society. Because we think that, you know, a man is the one who's to blame. So it takes 2 to fuck. Literally, I'm gonna say that. If you're gonna open your fucking legs for me, and you know what, and you look at me, don't use condom. I'm on birth control. Okay, you tell me don't use it. I'm sticking my shit right in then. Fuck you. And you tell me, oh. Okay,
but wait. I gotta stop you right there.
Go for it.
But at the same time, grooming and reviews, if you claim you don't want a kid, I mean, because, you know, I gotta get into the men too. If you claim you don't want a kid and you already got 5 kids from 4 different baby mamas, why in the hell would you even consider not wearing a condom? I mean,
That's
I know I'm not a
no,
man, and I know I don't know how it feels. Everybody says, everybody, knows that, of course, sex is better without a condom. But I mean, 10 minutes of passion can cause you 18 years of child support. 18 years. 18 years.
see,
Oh my goodness, baby, chill.
I have a different mindset because I do eventually one day want to have kids. I hold off because I don't want to have a drama or my child support or maybe daddies or anything like that. If that makes sense.
And
You
it
know what I mean?
does make sense. Like, I don't, and I'm gonna put it out there. I don't have respect for men that walks around with six, seven kids with six, seven different baby mamas. To me, that's disgusting.
I know a dude who had 10 kids from different women.
Damn. Like the thing
And
that Nick Cannon is doing, that's disgusting to me. He thinks because he's got money that's okay to do, but you're not really being a good participative parent. You're not there the way the kid needs you.
Money can only get you so much in life. Yes, they say money doesn't make happiness, and I a little disagree. Money doesn't make life more comfortable. Not happy, it's comfortable, but the kid does need to have both parents in their life. They at least earn that. It's not the kid's fault. One thing I might have all my hate and disagree with my ex, but one thing I will say did agree. If we ever split it, had a kid, the kid should not get blamed for it. You should not put the kid in the middle as crossfire. You should
Exactly.
even live together, make it work somehow. Always make it work.
Hold on, because BMU being messy right now, so I know what he's doing. So Lady D says, black women, you not only choose the man, but you got to decide if you want his family. No matter how good he is, nobody should be allowed to steal your peace. First of all, it's the man that chooses you, my dear, because you don't get married unless he asks you to get married, dumbass. A king is a king, but a woman only becomes a queen when she marries a king. Other than that, she's still a peasant. Second, Adam was made first. He was made in the image of God. And he saw that he needed a woman and the man should not live alone. So as a result, he took a rib and made women. So women don't decide shit. Women have access to sex, but they don't even decide the sex of the baby. Life starts with the man. Okay, we just incubators. And I know it sounds awful, but that's what the fuck we are. Okay, life starts with the seed. If we don't have that seed implanted in us, ain't shit going on. Okay, and that's the problem. Y'all women don't recognize that. And talking about stealing peace, you the one coming around here in these YouTube streets trying to disturb the peace, but we don't pay you no mind. You're good for content, Lady D. That's why we keep you around. That's the only reason we keep you around. And sometimes on Friday nights when I'm sick of you and I'm in a good mood, I just snipe your ass for 24 hours. So remember, you're only here because we allow you to be here. So my coworker, go ahead.
Everything you're saying, because the man gets on one knee and propose. The man, busted a nut pretty much to create the child. And if you want to go even further back in ancient times, let's use Spartans, for example, that I'm very familiar with. The man had to fight to get that woman. It wasn't like, here you go, kind of thing. You were just, it was a process. Even now, it's not as deep as back in the day, but it's still a process. We keep forgetting that.
And I want people to realize that I don't just talk the talk. I really mean what I say and say what I mean. I don't go to baby showers unless there's a father present, because I'm not going to co-sign to the foolery. I'm not. Because if I'm going there, I am accepting the fuckery. I do not. The first thing I ask when I get invited to a baby shower, is the father going to be there? I don't know. Maybe. I said, well, you let me know, because if the father's not going to be there, I'm sorry, I won't. And I won't give a gift. I won't give a gift because again, I am co-signing to it.
Do you mean father in the life or father at the baby shower?
Well, at least if he's present, that's half the battle.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't get that deep into it. I mean, if they're a really good friend, I would know what's going on. But let's say if it's a coworker and I really don't know them, they have to at least be at the baby shower and participate in the festivities and be included. Because again, a lot of women think it's just about them. Their wedding day is just about them. Their baby shower is just about them. But none of it could be possible without a groom or without a father. That's what women don't realize. Y'all really think that y'all shit don't stink. My coworker was obsessed with her son's child's mother. She would pick me up at whatever and talking about this girl and talking about her all the way. Who cares? You're so minute, Lady D. Go say something of value. You know,
dumbass.
Exactly. Damn. Take that comment off, because you're a killjoy. You just be fucking up the vibe, you know. But I don't co-sign it, Peter, because if I go there and show up and give a gift, then I'm accepting the foolery. I really am.
Hey, Grace, was the tradition that men go to baby showers, or was that traditionally a woman thing?
Well, when I grew up, I don't know, in the Dominican and in Italian culture, the father was always included.
Okay.
So I don't know about the melanated community, but the father was always. And again, I grew up where they was already married, and they're having a baby shower. You see what I'm saying? I didn't see a lot of single mother baby showers until I finished college, and that's when I started seeing that trend. And I really didn't go to baby showers either because I didn't know if I could have a baby or anything, so I was beefing a little bit. I'm not going to go celebrate something that I wish I could do, and I know that seems petty and selfish, but I'm not going to put myself in a hostile environment knowing how I'm going to feel, knowing how much I've wanted a baby. Her son was a felon, and the girl had a clean record and caught 2 cases effing around with him. So whose fault is that, Lady D? If she knew he was a felon, if she knew he was a felon, then whose fault is it that she messed around with him?
Let's say something here. COs, women COs are known to fuck around with the inmates. It's known fact. And then who was it? I was on the news over here. One CO literally fucked so many inmates. She ended up getting pregnant by one of them.
That's crazy.
And he's looking for crazy. 3 to 5 years in there easily. So
hi, Randy. I see you, baby girl. You on the job. So, Lady D, so you're blaming the woman? You're blaming the man? The father was grilling T-bone steaks for, oh my, you just, I gotta take another sip because you see how.
Get out of here!
Who cares? Again, bring some information of substance. Really. But with that being said, I'm going to show the first video. I don't know what order BMU got him. He just be surprising me sometimes. So, and I like it that way because I want
really fast. I need to step away for a few minutes. I'll be back in a little bit. All right.
No problem. Just put your kit. There you go. All right, my BMU, go ahead. Run the tape. Let's see the behavior of some trifling ass mothers, and y'all think this shit is cute.
Hard enough to be a parent in their children's lives. They don't. They do not.
Just a question. Why is it
that they have to fight?
These men have to fight. The fact that they have to fight is one thing. The fact that they're not fighting enough is another thing. But why is it that virtually every man has to fight to see their child? Do you understand that's the bigger issue versus not fighting enough?
Why are you complaining about a problem that you created for yourself? I don't want to hear it. Talking about why do men have to fight? You created that problem.
Yes.
So now you're like, oh, I have to fight my way out of my own problems. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we not all adults? Is life not always what we want it to be? So you will be like, well, I ain't fighting no more because why do I even have to fight? You'll leave that single mother to fight and have to raise the kid by herself, really just the mom and her kid. You'll leave her to fight for herself, but you're like, oh, I ain't gonna fight for my kid. Why I gotta fight for my kid? Over a problem that you created yourself. Well, we could have all just been like, you know what? I'm good on the kids. Let me wrap it up. Let me at least get married first. Let me at least try to do the right thing.
Huh?
No, this some bullshit. First of all, there's a lot of there's layers there. A problem. So who's to say that it's always the man that creates the problem? A lot of y'all trifling as mothers are the problem. You don't know how to be mothers.
I'm confused.
Go ahead.
What's the problem that was created? She never explained it.
Exactly, but that's automatic blame. It's always the man. So I'm getting it that he automatically created the problem. Shout out to Mr. Let Go. Love his content and whatever. But it's always assumed that the man's the problem. So if you just look at it that way, and who cares what the problem was? It's just because it was the man that created the problem.
Right,
and you're right. What was the problem?
Right. Well, don't we have to identify what the actual problem was? Is the fact that she's a single mother? She's saying that's the problem that was created, because he didn't create that problem. She did. She chose to have the child. So she made herself a single mother, knowing that she was impregnated by a man who was not her husband. So I'm trying to understand. I don't understand what she's saying. Well, you created this problem. No, he didn't create this problem. You created this problem because you could have made her put on a condom, or you could have not had sex with him, or you could have been on birth control, 30 some odd forms of birth control at this point, right? There's a lot of different options that could have been used here. I'm just a little bit confused. And this whole idea, well, we could have gotten married. Last time I checked, 70 some odd percent of divorces that are initiated by women. So the divorce is not saving you from being a single mother either. Marriage isn't saving you from being a single mother either. That's also created a problem. So I'm not completely sure. I think the issue is, a lot of these times, is that these people just shouldn't be together. And the child compounds the issue, makes it worse. They probably shouldn't be together, but I don't understand. Maybe somebody can help me. What's the problem that he created?
Alexa, be quiet. Great. And I agree with you. At the end of the day, like, shout out to my boy Kevin Samuels. He used to always say a woman has 34 forms of contraceptives. A man really only has 3: a condom, the pull-out game, and a vasectomy. You know what I'm saying? Here she come. My daughter lived such a beautiful life because she had a mother who cared about her. I don't give a damn what she did to those Negroes. That wasn't getting any information from me. Next, I'll tell you. I'm confused. Exactly. So that video was bullshit. And Mr. Let Go did an excellent point. The bigger problem is, why should men have to fight for their children? It's their children. Oh, it's only our children when the man is acting right and he's paying child support, right? But when he don't want to be with your trifling ass anymore, or he has another girlfriend, or he don't want to, be with you, now he has to fight for his children. Or if he's not giving child support. Because sometimes if the man can't afford to pay child support, taking into consideration that the man can at least offer emotional support, physical support. He may not be able to pay anything, but he may be able to go pick him up from daycare, spend with him a couple hours after school, go to the ballpark. But no, that's not good enough. You want money.
Yeah,
because the child support.
Sex with a man who can't afford a child.
That's another $1 million question. That's another $1 million question. My daughter was my role model, and I admire her as a woman, and she never let any grass grow under her feet. I never had to deal with Negroes jumping her or none of that shit. So your daughter,
absolute fuck are you talking about, lady?
So your daughter was your role model, and you was the fucking adult. So you trifling ass, Lady D.
It makes sense now.
Exactly. You're trifling. Get the fuck out of here. So with that being said, we need to shame First of all, we need. I'm sorry, and if anybody gets offended, fuck y'all. If it don't apply, let it fly. But if you're a single mom and you already have, I give you two. I give you two. I let you slide by with two because one child really shouldn't be by themselves. But after 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm looking at you fucking sideways. I really am. Because if you can't afford the two that you have, why do you think you have the audacity to bring in more life into this child, to just make a child be miserable, live in poverty, live in a hostile environment? I mean, come on, people. It's in self-entitlement. It's selfishness because you're not really thinking about the child. You're only thinking about that check every month. And let me explain something to you.
What check, Grace?
What?
The average child support. What check? The average child support payment is about $400.
Yeah, but if you no, but look, Trey, if you have 3, 4, 5, 6 times that by $400, I mean that's $2,600 clear and free money that you got.
You can get all of them to pay.
Plus WIC, plus food stamps, plus housing. I couldn't get a dime from the government. But you got somebody with 3, 4, 5 that gets everything. And that's my hardworking money, my tax paying money, having to pay for your habit of not keeping your legs fucking closed. I got beef with that. I'm voting Republican this year. And that's on the real. Trump 2024, ladies and gentlemen. Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I only had one. I heard so much from my dad growing up as a kid. Your body is your temple. Your body is your temple. Your curfew's at 12 o'clock because ain't nothing open after 12 but legs. And I'll be damned if they're yours. I mean, I'm telling you, it was just ingrained. I didn't get pregnant till I was 30 years old, and I didn't even know I was pregnant. He had to tell me. Oh, you're still drinking, hanging out, partying, and you carrying my child. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know. Didn't have to deal with that because I had a father on my neck 24/7. And that's why fathers are so important in the household. They bring structure, discipline, and order to the house. He would wait up for me to come home. He will page me 007 on my pager, and all that message said, wherever you at, whatever you doing, whoever you with, you got 30 minutes to get home. And he would be smoking his cigarette, watching his Vanna White, and waiting for me to come through that garage. He would not go to sleep till I walked through them doors. And if I was 5 minutes late, he's already calling all my friends' parents because he made me give him all the phone. See, this is why fathers are important. But y'all mamas out here keeping these babies late at night. You know, when I see a baby at Walmart at 11 o'clock at night, that irks me. That baby shouldn't be out that late at night. That baby should be in chill mode in his crib, sleeping. Nothing good happens at night. Well, some good things happen at night, but we'll leave that one alone, Trey.
How do you think these kids getting made? It's happening at night.
But they have no business. And I'm gonna tell you another story, and I know a lot of my embracers have heard it. My husband made a rule in the house that I was not allowed to have Jordan pass out 8:30 at night. I mean, there were exceptions to the rules, but the norm was that child had to be in his pajamas, fed, bathed by 8:30 p.m. And he would call the house to check to make sure that I was doing just that. And I never had a problem with this kid going to bed because he couldn't even make it to 9 o'clock. Even on Fridays and Saturdays when he didn't have no curfew, he couldn't make it past 10 o'clock. Why? Because he was in a routine. He had structure in his life. He knew what was up. But you got a lot of single moms. Anyway, let's look at a tape. I know there's a couple tapes I got here. Let's look at some more trifling behaviors from mamas. But we should be clapping for them. Look at that. All boys.
Wow, yeah. Hey, bow. Mama, move it. Pause.
So what respect will these little boys have for women, seeing they own damn mama on social media, slapping her ass and dancing like this? What the F is wrong with y'all, ladies?
I just saw a case of child abuse.
That is mental abuse. This is why a lot of these young men have warped perception of women. I have a friend that said that he grew up watching his mother cheat on his dad. So he don't trust no woman. That's all he saw was watching his mom. He never saw his dad, but she would bring him to their houses. She would do her thing. It's just really sad. And his perception of women is really effed up. How can he ever trust a woman if he saw his own mother cheat on his dad? And they were living together and married. And this man is in his 50s and he's still traumatized. That's what these trifling ass mothers be doing. How do you dance like that in front of your children? That's Child Protective Services need to come get her. Because that is really, really bad. Now, God forbid if a man did that with little girls, he'll be locked up underneath the jail and throw away the key. Why is it that the rules and the laws are different for women? And women know that. That's how black women raise their children, crazy hoes. Aren't you black, Lady D?
Don't you ever say another motherfucking word to me.
Aren't you black? That's your people, because according to everybody, I'm not black enough. So, you know what I'm saying? But aren't you black? You look lighter than me and longer hair than me on your profile picture. Aren't you black? You won't say that shit on the panel because you know you get eaten up alive. Where do y'all find these videos? Anissa, I be doing some research, girl. I be doing some research.
Anissa,
And a lot of the videos, you'd be amazed. My embracers send them to me. They'll be like, Grace, I know you can talk about this. You ain't scared. And they'll send me topics and they'll email me and they'll hit me up. So Anissa, these videos and ideas and topics come from all over. Lady D said, nobody wants to listen to me. It's the black mothers in the community. Oh, no, let me not say that, because then, you know, I'm going to say mothers in the community, because you got some trifling ass white mamas. You got some trifling ass Hispanic mamas, but not much, but you got them. Is it more prevalent in the melanated community? You tell me.
No, it's
who's
prevalent.
Who's the most locked? You was in law enforcement, Trey.
It's prevalent. It's prevalent in communities that have poverty. That's a poverty thing. That's poor people stuff.
You think so?
You would be hard pressed to find an affluent mother who's the wife to a man who owns a business, or to a man who has a high ranking position, twerking in a bathroom with her sons. You're not going to see that. That's poor people, just poor people stuff.
But also, Trey, you also have some fathers of elite families who touch on their nieces or their daughters and do inappropriate things as well.
Right,
it's
I'm not
just
talking about pedophilia. Pedophilia doesn't have an age. I'm talking about this idea,
this behavior,
this specific behavior from women, from mothers, who for whatever reason want to treat their sons like they're grown men. They dress them a certain way. You know what I mean? Like this seems to be a poverty sort of type of behavior when we see it. Very rarely do you see it. I agree with you. What you're saying, I agree with you. There are some men who are in affluent positions that are pedos. I completely agree with you. But in this particular, when we see this type of situation, I mean, to have your son smack your booty while you twerking is, well, it's offensive. Like I don't know how
he might as well just took out the dollar bills and go ahead and make it rain.
He was making the motion. He was making. If you watch it, I mean, we don't need to watch it again. But if you watch the kid with the little, he had the mini man bun. He was making the motion of throwing dollars on his own mother.
But y'all can always throw dollars in my purse. Y'all can, donate to the Cash App. Embrace the Grace 23. Don't mind doing that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on both channels, the Black Man Unfiltered and my channel. I would really appreciate it. But I'm sick of seeing this. I am. I'm sick of the low class, low frequency behavior, and I get it. So what do we do if it comes more from poverty? What do we do to change this, Trey? What do we do? These black mothers would rather put commissary money on their felon son's books than buy her daughter's kids Pampers. Anyway, next. So
Yeah, that's just another that's rhetoric. There are more white people in prison than there are black. So that's crazy. That's a crazy statement to make. But anyway, well, I mean, you know me, I'm an advocate for financial literacy, Grace. You know that. I think that's the number one way how we fix a lot of the problems in this community. I think that if a woman like this doesn't have anything to lose, right? She's not in a position where she has anything to lose. She doesn't own a home, more than likely. Right? She doesn't have a position at a job that they would fire her for her behavior, right? Most women, they would get fired for that type of behavior, right? So, she doesn't have anything to lose. So because we don't have any financial literacy, because we don't have any money in those particular situations, she can do these things without fear of any sort of consequence.
True. DeMonte, you on audio? You up here? What you got to say about this? Are you there? No? Going once? Going twice? And the thing, he left? He just left. Okay, and the thing is that women don't realize the kind of damage that you do on your children. You really don't. And I agree with you, because I remember I took an economics class when I was in high school, but then again I went to a very elite Catholic high school. We took economics. We learned about stocks, bonds, the New York Stock Exchange. We learned how to fill out a check. We learned about credit. I mean, it's like, but they would rather have, and this is on God, guys. We had to fight the school board because my son's mother's best friend found a lesson that they were teaching kids on how to eat ass.
What?
And we forced that curriculum out the window. So you're going to teach these kids how to eat ass? How about you teach them how to wash their ass? How about you teach them the importance of doing birth control? And this was in the suburbs. This was in my son's high school in Florida. I couldn't believe it. When I saw that and she sent me that on a screenshot, she was like, Grace, so you going for this? She pulled my heartstrings. She was like, so you want Jordan how to eat ass? And I'm like, where do I sign the petition? I mean, have we really come to this level where we're teaching our kids how to eat ass, but we took out home economics? We took out wood shop. We don't teach them about credit. We don't teach them how to even do cursive writing anymore. I mean, what are we doing right now? I asked my son, Trey, after he took health class, I was like, Jordan, did I go over everything with you? Did I teach you everything? Because I felt that he needed to hear it from me or his father, not no teacher, not no textbook. And I said, did I go everything over with you? He was like, yeah, Mom, you missed one thing. I'm like, well, what was that? He was like, you missed the lesson about blue balls. I'm like, well, okay. I don't have those and I don't go through that. So he was like, well, yeah, Dad covered it. And then we followed up with the lesson in school. I'm like, okay, I'm glad. He was like, but yeah, you went over everything. You went over everything, Mom. You didn't leave nothing out.
Yeah,
and then what made it so worse, my best friend was a biology teacher at the time, and she bust out the textbooks with all the diseases and how everything looks. We took them to a clinic, like the health department, And we sat him there and we had him read all the posters. I mean, we scared him straight. I mean, I can only teach him and plant those seeds. Now it's up to him to carry on. Hey, Braxton, how are you?
Yeah,
But
that's a sign of good parenting. First of all, number one, the communication was there that you could have the conversation. I don't think a lot of people realize in America that most parents don't really have that conversation with their children. They don't have the birds and yeah, of course. And they don't have the birds and the bees. I didn't have a birds and the bees conversation. The conversation went like this one morning over breakfast. I remember exactly what I was eating, eggs and toast. And she said, "You better not bring no babies in this house." That's exactly what she said to me. That was it. That was my birds and the bees conversation from my mother. It was my uncle who on a drive to the grocery store who actually had a real conversation to me about sex and condoms and STDs and babies. He was the one that did the work for me. I don't know if him and my mother worked on that, but my mother never had that conversation with me. So kudos to you for being able to actually be able to communicate with your child and be able to have that conversation.
Trey, I set a platform for him where I told him, you can come and talk to me about anything, no matter how uncomfortable you may think it is. I got you. And sometimes, Trey, he be coming at me with, "Mom, does size matter to a girl?" I'm like, "Oh,
yes."
You know, I mean, I'll give you the answer that I gave him, but he would come at me with stuff like that, and like it was really on his mind. I could tell when he was starting to explore himself because there was a lot of more questions. The lotion was disappearing. And I'm like, oh, shit. The room was smelling different because when boys are going through puberty, I mean, things just, I'm like, what the hell is that? You know, it's just like, what is going on around here? I remember when he called me I was at work and I called him on my break to check on him. And out of nowhere, Trey, talking about, "Mom, I'm ready." I already knew. I said, "Ready for what, Jay?" He was like, "I'm ready to have sex." I said, "But I ain't ready." He was like, "Well, Mom, you better get ready. COVID put me a year behind and all my friends have done it and I'm still a V." And I said, okay. I didn't get mad. See, that's another problem that a lot of us parents do. We forget that we were fucking kids and trifling and doing shit when we was younger, but we expect our kids not to do it. So you know what I did, Trey? I called one of my friends who's gay. I know that he goes to the health department every 2 weeks. And I asked him, "Hey, I need you to get me a bag of condoms because you know they're free." And he was like, "For what?" And I said, Jordan coming up." He was like, "Oh, okay, no problem." So he got me a big old bag. And I went further than I know that some parents will do. But you know what? I turn anything into a teaching moment. I put the bag on his bed. And I gave him a cucumber. I said, "Jordan, this is as far as I can go with you. The rest you're either going to have to ask your dad, YouTube it, or do whatever. First you practice on the cucumber. Then you practice on yourself. Because, you know, if you put one on too tight, it busts. I'm a grandma. If you put one on too big, it slides off. I'm a grandma. And when it does happen, you don't want to be fumbling and mess up the mood and whatever. You want to be a professional at it."
Did you say cucumber? We're a little bit ambitious.
Yeah. I got him a it goes further. It goes further. This is when I learned that he was a golden ticket type of guy. He was like, "Mom, none of them fit." I'm like, "What?"
Oh my God.
So then that had to know, but I took it as another teaching lesson. I said, "Look, some grown women can't handle a weapon of mass destruction. Okay? You can't be giving that thing to any little girl and not expect for my car to be scratched, bricks to be thrown the window. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You better value that penis and let these little girls work for you. Remember, you're the prize." That's how I talk. Like I said, any little thing, you know, then I bought him a 3-pack of those. And he was like, "Yeah, Mom, those are much better." He was like, "Well, what did you expect, Mom? I'm 6'3", size 14 in shoes. Look at my hands." I'm like, "My bad." I'm like, "I'm not all into your equipment that way. I mean, your dad made it, but you know, I stopped bathing you when you were 8 years old. I ain't seen that in 6-7 years. I don't know what you're working with." But again, I set the platform for my child. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, guys, because I've had my moments. There had been times where I had to apologize to my son. That's another thing that us parents don't do. We'll be wrong and motherfucking strong. And don't even, these kids, sometimes we be so bad. We be so verbally abusive to them. We say so much shit to them that we don't even apologize to them. And sometimes these kids do deserve an apology. I had to apologize to my son one time. He pissed me off to the highest level of passivity because he was on that damn phone, and I took the phone and I smashed it. And I threw it on the floor, and then I picked it up and I smashed it again. I ended up having to apologize to him and replace that phone to him. And I had to be humble and swallow that pill. Because I was going to therapy at the time, and my therapist said, you are teaching your son that when you get angry, that it's okay to destroy somebody else's property. So I had to be humble and apologize to him and buy him a new phone. And I was, as a mom, I felt so guilty. I was trying to buy him a better phone that he had. And he's such a humble guy. He was like, no, Mom, you don't need to get me the latest phone. The one I had is good. But how many parents do you know would do that, Trey? Actually apologize to their children for the foolery that they do.
Yeah, that's well, the old school mentality is to never apologize. That's more of modern parenting. But I must admit, if you are wrong as a parent, I do think that you set a better example for your child by admitting you're wrong and being accountable and saying, hey, look, I popped off at the handle. I got a little too upset. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have done this. And I don't want you to think that this behavior is the proper behavior.
And that's exactly how it went down, Trey. I sat here. We went out for ice cream. Sometimes when I wanted to have a serious conversation with him and to get his attention, all I had to do was feed him. You know, let's go out to eat. I'd wake up at 3, 4 in the morning. We have this ritual in the weekends. You know, when he was older, 12 or 13, we go to Denny's and we'd have our conversations there. And plus, I wanted to keep it in a controlled environment just in case it got heated. But, you know, one day we was going at it, and I said to him, you know what, Jordan, you say a lot of fucked up shit. You know what he turned around and said to me? Well, you do too, Mom. I'm like, I didn't get upset. I didn't go off. I sat in that. And I marinated in that. How many parents do that?
But children have a way of holding a mirror up to you. Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, they do.
You know, I remember the first time my daughter said fuck. I remember the first time. And the way she said it, she only got that from one person. Mm-hmm. She only heard that from one person. It's the way she said it and the manner in which she said it. She dropped something and she said, fuck. And that she got it from me. It was clearly from me. I had to remember that children are sponges and they soak up everything and they are always watching, even when they don't look like they're watching. My son look like he's on a video game or look like he's on his phone or look like he's watching. He's paying attention. He hear everything that's going on. They are sponges. And I think good parenting, I think the parenting has evolved somewhat. Good parenting is having the ability to say, hey, look, I am human. I am your parent, but I do make mistakes too. But here's how to properly handle the mistakes when you make them. So I can set the bad example, but I can also set the good example as well.
You're absolutely right. I told him I'm not perfect. Parenting don't come with a manual. You know, when I had him,
no, it's on the
I
job.
read all the books. I went to all the classes. I didn't even know how to change a diaper. I literally had to wear a mask when I first changed his diaper because I have a very weak stomach. But after 2 weeks, I didn't need a mask anymore. I was used to him. But the fact still remains that I had to learn. I took the initiative. I wanted to be a good parent. I wanted to raise the best kid I could possibly because I respected the fact that that child was a blessing. He was a blessing from God, and it is my responsibility to mold him, teach him, and make him a productive person in this society. A couple of weeks ago, we were, getting him a credit card because he's 18, he's moved out, he's with his dad, and he looked up at me. He was like, Mom, really? I said, what did I do now? He was like, Mom, you got my credit at 759? I said, you damn right. Now you're 18 years old. You can buy you a car with low interest rate. You can get that apartment that you want. And I ain't got this cosign shit for you and put my name on it. See, these are the things as parents that we need to do. But no, we're too busy fucking twerking in the bathroom. We're too busy clubbing, but we don't want to cook for our kids. We want to give them what is it? Pork and beans or Roman noodles. But as soon as a man comes, you want to cook steak and shit. And that's the video that I couldn't find, where the son sits in the back seat and the mother's going off on him and says, "Mom, you never fed me. You would feed your men before you feed me. You let me starve. You did this, you did that." I'm like, I just can't see how parents, and I've heard it before, not everyone deserves to have children. And they should make it mandatory to go to parenting classes. I took CPR. Trent, I was crazy with it. I took CPR. I went to Lamaze classes. I went to breastfeeding classes. I read the book. I mean, I did everything. I took him to swim classes when he was 3 months old because I had a pool at my house. So there was no way, and we lived in Florida. So there was no way that I wasn't going to teach him how to swim. Do you remember the video when the little girl was at the dancing around a pole? You're gonna take your girl. You're gonna take your daughter to a strip dance class. You couldn't think of nothing else better. Maybe gymnastics, dance class, but you're gonna take her to a stripper's pole class. I'm like, who does who? I'm. Maybe you're right. I mean, I have a hard time just because a person is in poverty. Does that warp their thinking?
No, not necessarily that it warps their thinking. It's just a lot of this is cyclic. It came. Their mother didn't do it, so I agree with you. Right? She should be putting her daughter in gymnastics or dance. And you have to ask her. Well, were you in gymnastics or dance? Probably not. Was your mama in gymnastics or dance? Probably not. So she doesn't know to. This is where I get a little bit frustrated because where does the critical thinking and the common sense come in? Like for me, my dad wasn't in my life. So my mentality was, well, I'm going to do everything that my dad didn't do. You know what I mean? That to me is the common sense critical thinking thought process of it. But I find sometimes that with a lot of these women who don't have a lot of money and who are on government assistance and aren't really with the best men, that there's not a lot of common sense. And this isn't a black or white thing. This is just the situation. That there's no common sense, there's no critical thinking, and they sort of repeat what happened before them. I once worked a case where I went to a grandmother's home in public housing. She had been there for 30 years. How she worked that out, I have no idea. But she had been in public housing for 30 years, and she was complaining about her neighbor and a speaker. But what really threw me is that her daughter was also in public housing, and her granddaughter, who was pregnant at the time, was also in public housing. And so that's when I say this thing is cyclic, and at some point in time, somebody's got to break the cycle here. Somebody has got to say, listen, I'm not going to do that. And so this is where sometimes when I see women who are like, all right, well, I'm going to go to college because nobody went to college. Sometimes it's a little bit deeper than them just wanting to go to college. Sometimes they want to break the cycle, and I can understand it. I don't have an issue with that. But a lot of these women, there is no, like Lady D said, she should have been the role model, but she said her daughter was the role model. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of the issue. Like, no, you're supposed to be the role model. Your daughter's
Exactly.
supposed to look up to you.
I'm sorry, DeMonte. I didn't know that you was back. Go ahead. What say you? I know you've been hearing the foolery going on tonight. What do you have to say about trifling as mothers and the trauma that they bring to the children?
Some people, I understand the track record of these people, but how did we get here in the first place is what you need to take into account sometimes. But I know what you mean. But
wait, take what into account?
How did we get here?
How did we get here?
Yeah,
that's a good question. I mean that is a very good question. But the thing is we got to try to do better. A lot of us know better, DeMonte. We just refuse to do better. Like when me and my ex broke up, my son's father, I was not the type to bring different men at the house. If you didn't have your own place, we couldn't date because we was only going to chill at your house. You wasn't coming to my house. And a lot of dudes didn't believe me. Oh, I must be hiding something. I must have a dude, you know, I must be still married and all of this because they were not used to the fact of them coming to a woman's house within a week of meeting them. No. My son respects me. I'm the first woman he fell in love with. I'm the first woman he held hands with. I'm the first woman he kissed. I told him one day, you are the only person on this earth that literally knows the sound of my heartbeat. That's deep. Ain't nobody know the sound. I mean, yeah, you could lay on my chest and hear my heartbeat, but you heard it from the inside out. There was no way that I was going to bring foolery around my son. Was I wilding out? Of course. I was single. You know, I was having my fun, but I wouldn't bring it around my son. Absolutely not. I would wait till he go to bed. 11 o'clock, I'm sneaking out and I'm back in before he wake up in the morning. He never missed a beat. And my bedroom door was right there in front of the door, and then so he never knew I was gone. Sometimes he was, you know, he was like, Mom, where were you? You know, he questioned me, are you good? But I would never, I have seen women bring men after men after men after men to their children. Okay, kids, what do you say when you see a nice young man? Are you my daddy? I know y'all know that. Okay, that shit is funny, but it's not funny because it's true.
Lord.
It's
so sad.
And again, I'm not just going to put all the blame on women. There's some trifling ass dads too. But at the end of the day, women are the nurturers. Women are the first teachers that children have. And sometimes women are the worst parents to our children. We create fucking demons. We really do. And why? Because you couldn't keep your legs closed. Because you wanted to use a child as a spawn. And look, guys, I know. Ladies, I know. I know parenting is not easy. And a lot of you mothers, especially, you don't change your mindset. The minute I found out I was pregnant, my whole perception of life changed. It's like I had an epitome. It's like it's not about me anymore. Every decision I make in my life has to include my child. Every move I make, he gonna be right there with me for the next 18 years. I can't just pick up and leave anymore and go out and do what I gotta do. But a lot of you women don't leave this mindset. A lot of y'all women think y'all can still go clubbing. I'm not saying don't live your life. But and I know that you guys have seen this. You guys have seen where the women went on a 10-day cruise and left the 16-month-old toddler home and died of dehydration.
Sheesh.
Oh, you leave the kid in the car in the hot sun to go have drinks in the bar? I mean, what we doing right now? What we really doing? And I'm bringing it in. I'm bringing this shit to y'all because it's disgusting and it's shameful. And that's the problem. We don't bring enough shame anymore to women or men. We sit the single mother with 5 kids, 4 different baby daddies in the front pew of the church. If you don't sit your ass in the back, how can the church accept this and think that it's okay? I know we live in a different world. I know that things have changed. And I'm not telling y'all not to have sex because I can't control y'all penises and vaginas. But just don't make kids. Stop making bastard children. That people like Trey and me and Del Monte, they work, have to pay for y'all asses. I only got one. And as soon as me and my ex separated, I went and got my tubes tied because I knew I wasn't going to have no more. And then I had to ask for forgiveness because I didn't even know that that was a sin to God, tying your tubes. I was looking at it as like, I ain't having no different baby daddy. I'm not going through this. Oh, no. My ex-husband was the one that won that prize. He's going to be the only man that got this womb. I valued my womb. but y'all women are giving out your wombs like candy on fucking Halloween. Do you guys know that that is the most precious, valuable, honorable thing that a woman can give a man?
No, they don't. They
Is
don't know. That's the problem. No, they don't know because there's nobody
These
there to
hoes
teach.
ain't loyal. You
I'm serious. I'm serious. Like I really thought about this question, and this is one of the questions I am. Next time I talk to my sister, I'm gonna ask her, like, what did our mom teach you about your womb? They don't know. It's not being taught. And I don't come from an impoverished family. Like I don't come from it. I'm just telling you on every level, it's not taught like that. Women are not taught. You have the incubation to life. Yeah, we have the spark of life. But this whole life, the life thing it's a puzzle. There's a pieces fit properly. When the pieces fit properly, it makes a really beautiful picture. Men carry the spark of life because women can incubate it. We have to work together. We have to one befits the other, right? But what you have is special because there is not a human being on this earth that did not pass through a womb. It just doesn't work that way, right? And so you have something special. The same way we tell men to protect your seed because you have something special, we have to tell the women the same thing. Well, you have to protect your womb because there are some ancient dudes out here too. As much as we talk about the ancient women, and there are plenty of them, there are a lot of guys out here, even though the statistics don't say much, but there are a lot of guys out here, they ain't shit. And I just find it funny that the 50% of men who don't have kids, how do these women keep finding the same guys? Like, how do y'all keep finding the same guys?
I really think it's a
sleep with?
competition. Oh, he got 9 kids. I'm gonna be the one. I think I heard you on the show before. Your box ain't that great. You know?
No,
I could change him.
You can't. Yeah, I mean, am I crazy? Like, we're talking about what, 12, 13%, especially in the black community. We're talking about 12, 13% of black men. Of the other 30 some odd black men are married, and then we got like a 45 to 50% rate of black men who don't have any children. So how are you finding the ones who already have kids? That's what I always find that interesting. I'm like, how do y'all find the ones that already have kids when the majority of men don't have kids? Black men don't have kids
because they're passing up on the Jeromes, and they're passing up on the Brads because he's just a plumber, but they want the dope boy. They want that fast money. BMU, if you're there, can you pull up Travel One's comments, because she got a couple good things that I want to address, because she be at least bringing up some substance when she talks, and I want let's talk about it. I think it starts with, when a black man going to vote because they are not involved in mass with the laws that they complain about. Okay.
Chime in?
Go ahead. Go ahead. You a man. Go ahead.
I've been knowing that this voting shit been some bullshit since, man, back in the 80s when I was a kid, and I was sitting over at my grandmother's house back in the day, back when you had to be in the house with the street light on. Things made sense. And I've been noticing this stuff was funny style since way back in the day. But we don't vote because we didn't seen how funny style this. You can see how funny style everything is now. Everything is high. Industries are closing. Things are closing. And then if y'all haven't heard, Saudi Arabia just took the dollar off the petrodollar. So things about to go even worse.
Yeah.
United States dollar is not going to be traded across the world for fuel if you don't understand that part. So you got to look at the whole bigger picture. I'm a former soldier, and I'm not a Pookie and Ray Ray, but the tactics is still available, if you understand.
Yeah. Right. And thank you for your services. But the thing is, at the end of the day, I think it is the lesser of the two evils. But I think it's worse not voting than voting. And then it's not only in the presidential, That don't even matter because to me, the president is just a puppet master. It's in your local um, races is where it matters. Your state, your city, your county. That's where the change needs to be, more needs to be made. You know, I also think that instead of encouraging kids into music and entertainment and sports, why don't we push them more into politics, medicine, engineering? Why? Because we want that fast, quick money. And then Travel One also said thing. Hold on,
Can I speak on the voting?
go ahead. Absolutely.
First of all, Travel One, we need to address the fact that only a third of the population actually votes. Let's start there, right? Only a third. 300 million people in America, only about less than 100 million actually vote.
Damn.
Second of all, black men don't vote because they don't align with our beliefs and our morals. And so black men don't take the approach of what Grace said, pick the lesser of the two evils. Black men don't think like that. Black men say, I don't fuck with neither one of them. That's what black men say. Right now, I was a staunch Trump supporter, but he's got some fucking explaining to do as far as I'm concerned. He's got a lot of explaining to do because it's not looking good. And I can't see how the country looks good having a convicted felon as the president. I don't know how that works. Now, I'm from D.C. We re-elected a mayor that was a crackhead. Don't ever forget that. We re-elected him, Marion Barry, after he got caught. He got caught with the coke. We re-elected him. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. It makes you look weak. So a lot of black men will look at these situations and say, well, I don't like Biden and I don't like Trump. And even in our local elections, well, I don't fuck with none of them. So we are not afraid to say, I don't like either of you, so I'm going to bow out. Whereas you will get the women will say, well, you're not as bad as the other one, so I'll vote for you. Not realizing that the real power is in saying we don't agree with the system at all to any length. And voting out of the lesser two evils, it doesn't work. How did that work? Most people voted for Biden because he was the lesser two evils. How is that working out? The man's taking a shit on himself in public. How's that working out? Lesser two evils is not always the best answer.
I mean, I hear you, but I look at it that what about, would you say how hard our ancestors fought for being able to have the right to vote? Women had to fight to vote. Black people had to fight to vote. I mean,
I get you, Greg, but I think we do a disservice to our ancestors and to those who vote if we just use our votes and cast our vote for anybody. I believe that our ancestors and those people who gave their lives for us to vote, they want us to vote responsibly. They want us to vote for people who will help our community. I think that's the purpose of why they vote, why they fought to vote. I have a hard time believing that they wanted us to vote just to say, well, hey, at least you can vote. I think we're being irresponsible by picking people who we know ain't shit. I knew Biden wasn't shit back in 1994 when he authored the goddamn crime bill. We knew he wasn't shit back then. I had to study that when I was in school, by the way, in 1994. We had to actually read through that. And I remember that. And so if I knew that then, and I know that now, I know that he was the vice president to a president that did more for gay and lesbian rights and chasing hedge fund managers than he did for black people, then why would I vote for this man? So a lot of the issues that Travel One is bringing up is simply because black men look at this and go, I don't relate to any of them. And that's why I'm not voting.
And you think that's okay?
Yes, I think it's okay. I don't have a problem. I will not be voting this year. This will be one of the first years I won't vote since I turned 18. I will not be voting. I'm not impressed with Trump. Him getting convicted.
You know it's going to be a mistrial on all those 34 charges.
I got that. But that doesn't mean he can't be reconvicted. That doesn't mean it can't happen again.
Isn't that double jeopardy?
No, it depends on what they find out. Depends on what they find out.
Well, what happened was a juror had put it on social media that he was going to be found not guilty.
I got that. But what did the judge submit on the paper? If the judge hasn't wrote guilty on that paper, then technically he's not guilty yet, and so he can't be charged again. So there's a lot of nuances to the court system, and a lot of people don't understand. You're going to learn a lot about it now that we have a potential presidential candidate that's up for. You're going to learn how this judicial system works. But if that judge didn't write on that paper He's guilty. I know what the 4-person wrote and all that, yada, yada, yada. But if that judge didn't submit that paperwork that says he's guilty, there's a good chance he could be tried. We could literally hit the reset button and start all over again. Only difference is he may be president this time.
Well, this is the first time I'm voting Republican since I've been 18 years old. But Alicia, thank you for coming up here. You look beautiful with your. I love the afro. I love it. I love it. I know you've been. I know you've been listening. I know you've been listening. What say you? What do you have to say? First of all, are you a mom?
Yes.
How many do you have?
One.
I know that's
one.
Okay.
Yes.
Boy or girl?
More, but it didn't work out. A little girl. Well,
okay.
She's 13 now. It's not so little.
So tell me, am I wrong for the things that I'm pointing out and addressing? You know?
I don't think a parent can be wrong when they are actually trying to parent, if you understand what I mean. Because we can always research and learn different things. The desire to be the best parent, best person that you can be, I think that's where it starts. And you're obviously doing that. And I think you're doing a great job, in my opinion.
But that's you and me. But you know that there are a lot of parents that they don't go to open house. They're not part of PT. They're not part of PTA. I mean, I was stupid with it because I know my parents never did it when I was growing up. My dad was always working. My mom didn't even speak a lick of English and she didn't drive. So I remember how I felt as a kid. And I told I told myself that when I have a kid, I'm not going to be that. And then Jordan never knew when I was at his school. He had to stay on his toes because I would surprise him at lunchtime. I would be at the book fair and he didn't know I was coming. I would chaperone field trips because I wanted to bond with him. And sometimes these kids go on elaborate field trips now. It's not like when I grew up, we just go to the stupid planetarium and stuff like that. I mean, they're going to really high. They're going to DC for 5 days. You know. So I'm like, no, I want to be a part of that. And the awesome thing was that he didn't mind. He was like, come on, Mom. You're one of the cool moms. Come with me. Just don't be so New Yorker when you're on the bus with the kids. You know. And I used to get along with all the kids. I was a chaperone. We had fun, and just to see my son smile. And then remember how I went to all his basketball games. And if I didn't go, I would have one of his titis go or somebody in his place until I got there. But he was never felt alone or abandoned because I remember how that felt when I was a kid. And I chose, and I'm going to be like, you know what? My mama probably didn't teach me much, but she did teach me what not to do.
Exactly. And I've had this experience, unfortunately, but I'm sure there are a lot of children out who have the experience where on the rare chance their parent is involved, the child can feel the energy. And sometimes it comes as words or actions that the parent really does not want to be there. And that can be so damaging to our kids. It doesn't give them a chance to love themselves. Because how can you love yourself if the people who brought you into the world don't cherish you or want nothing to do with you, or you're a burden to them?
Are you all? And that's one of I have here 8 things that we do the worst as toxic moms. But before I go into that, grooming, what do you have to say? I know you left and you came back. Did you watch the second video?
Grooming? I saw Grooming's mom the other day. So cute. Grooming, she's so cute. I just want to pinch her cheeks to the screen.
I'll be honest, my phone the whole time was blowing up from people watching it, from Pop Culture Warrior to people like, dude, I haven't seen your mom in years. Oh my God, she's so cute. I'm like, but you guys don't ever show up for me. We're like, fuck you. We care from her. She's
Mama Dukes. Mama Dukes was on the show.
I'm gonna bring her over because I got more subscribers. So like, she's gonna hook me up.
That's hilarious.
I do want to touch something you guys said here. When you guys don't show up to events, that actually hurt me as a child. I'm gonna be very clear. I was a martial artist. I competed in tournaments. I fought in tournaments. And one thing I always look for is my father in stance. I never had that once. And it bothers me to this day. And I have spoken to him about it. I want, my dad, he emotionally damaged me. To be straight up, I went through therapy and all that stuff. He didn't do it on purpose. I give him credit on that one because he never had a father. He didn't know what a father is. His father died during a war. He was literally walking, and a mine pretty much blew him up. It was not even a body left, So I cannot blame him for that. But
okay,
I still was like stuff he used to say to me. Like I remember asking him for a few bucks because, and a comment he made to me was, I was at 12 years old. He goes, "You and your mother always want money." So that kind of hurt me. We're like, okay, that's how it is. So I got a job as a busboy off the books, making tips only. And by the time I was 17, I was making more money than he was making in a week. I was making what he made in a month in a week.
wow.
Because I bust my ass.
Did he ask you for money?
Yeah, he always did. He always asked for money.
And
so I always gave it to him because we're family, no matter what. I'm not going to change that. He's my father. He needed $20. I got him. He needed a cell phone. I got him the newest, best cell phone ever. Same with my mother. She wants shoes. You got the best. And I even took her into a Gucci show. She goes, this is too modern for me. She's not like that. And that was a little practical joke I sent to her. But if she want a pair of Gucci's, I'll get her a pair of Gucci. I don't give a shit. Whatever they want. To me, I don't have anybody but them. Even my parents are separated now after they separated after 40 years over a stupid steak. I am not joking about this. Over a steak. And
do you mind sharing? I'm so curious.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you the whole story. So my father was a New York taxi driver. He's at least for 30 years that I can remember. And he was crossing the street one day. He did transition from yellow cab into Uber. So, and he stopped somewhere. I don't know where he stopped. I don't remember, to be honest. It was in the middle of Manhattan. So as he looked across, he crossed the street. And it was around a bend. He come around. This lady blew the red light, ran him right over. He was in the air and everything. So I get off work. My mom calls me and goes, I always call my mom, check up on her through the day. Same for my father. And my mom goes, you better call your father right now. And I go, why? She goes, your father was run over. Okay, nice. Yeah. And my parents playing little practical jokes like that. And I Mom, that's not a joke. No, I'm dead serious. Call your father right now. I'm like, oh. I call him what the fuck happened? He goes, I got run over by a car. We're up to 5 surgeries and he still cannot walk straight. With 1 open heart surgery on top of
But where does the steak come in? I'm still waiting to hear about the steak.
Oh, we're getting there. So he got his surgeries. So he went through rehab. He ended up suing the company and everything. So he goes, I'm going to go back to work. I'm strong enough. And goes, okay, we're waiting for the money to kick in from the lawsuit. He needed money. So I gave him a couple $100 and he ate before he left the house. So he drove 2 hours to New York and he called my mom and goes, man, fucking George is the guy he used to go to. He charged expensive steaks. He goes, what do you mean? You just fucking ate. Well, I was still hungry. So I bought another steak. Click. And then I haven't spoken it since then. I'm like, seriously?
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. My parents are 75, both of them. I'm like, after all these years, you're
2 grown ass old people fighting over a piece of steak.
I told her. Yep.
I'm assuming mom was insulted that he went and ate.
This was over the years. My father was the provider, but we always gave him better opportunities he never took. We had a lot of opportunities to make more money. And my mom worked. They both worked because we're giving you money out of our pockets to help you get back on your feet to support the family again. And you're going to eat a steak with that money. You should have used that money to get back into Uber because he had to rent a car because he didn't own one through Uber, and that cost him money. And that's what's bothered. We're giving you money for that. And that, right? If she got so offended, if it wasn't for that, they'll probably be together trying to kill each other like always.
Damn.
And I even looked at him afterwards, not together, separately. I go, listen, first of all, to my father, you should have been more a pair of fucking balls. Drive up here and sit my mother down and say, look at like this. To go, what is your fucking problem? Let's talk it out because over the years I've been next to you. And my father excuse me, oh, why haven't you called the cops? Like, when the fuck did she ever call the cops on you? I went to her. He goes, never. So what did you think he's going to do now? You could have called me. And I told him, listen, I'll make sure she doesn't call the cops. You guys sit in a room by yourself
Put a
and figure this
referee.
out. Yeah. After all these years, my mom never called the cops on him. She threw a frying pan at him once, but that's a different story. But she never called it. She cursed you out before she called the cops. I know how she is. The only time she calls the cop if she feels like my life as her son is in danger, or
Makes sense.
or she's somebody we care in danger. She didn't want to get her hands dirty. She's not like a killer, but she I seen her duke it out. I literally seen her go for blow with one person we used to rent that downstairs of the house, and they were got into it about the rent, and the cops are on the way. The cops took so long. The lady threw a punch. My mom, oh fuck you! She started nailing them. I'm like, oh, my mom actually can fight. And like she got her good, and like a good couple punches, like for a for a little oversized white woman, and like she threw some nice punches. Like, where'd she learn how to fight? She goes to me, simple, TV. I'm like, seriously?
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, and my parents always had a very toxic relationship, and I knew that. But I thought for a long time that is normal. I find out growing up is not normal. Arguing about over stupid shit. Like my father used to eat dinner. I used to go push his plate. He goes, kind of like, fuck you, now pick up my plate. I'm like, and we get in all these arguments all the time. I always pick up the table when we're done eating, clean the table, and I go, no, leave it. I got it. Like, Ma, stop. I'm not your soon-to-be ex-husband or whatever you want to call him. I will pick up the table. Leave it alone. I'll cook dinner. If she argues with me about even cooking dinner, that's fine. I don't care. But the point I'm trying to get across here is we need to change the social norm that is not so normal. We have to change the mentality. Like it takes, like I said earlier when I was on before I had to drop off my mom. It was it's two to tango, and it's both. This is a work. The best relationship I ever seen. Like I give shout outs, Pop Culture Warrior. I know him. He's one of my best friends. Number one, he is my best friend. And I looked at him one day. I was having a relationship with I have issues with my life relationship, and I was having a beer at his deck. I go, dude, how do you do it? He goes, well, I always see you guys happy and everything. He goes, dude, it took a lot of work. It took 15 years of us screaming and yelling at each other to figure this out, and we have figured this out. There are moments we have a problem, and I follow up question. I go to him like, how do you guys keep the love together? I'm like, if you're talking about fucking, we fucked before you came over. I'm like, no, I wasn't asking that, dude. That's so much information. He goes, no, that's the point. Where I take my wife for dinner, I make sure we have intimate time. I'm like, so you date your wife? Yes. He goes, if you continue dating your wife, you never lose your wife. And that's what I use as an example. Like I always say it on this platform. So not this one, all of them. Keep dating your wife. Keep surprising her. And she's coming back for more.
I know that's right.
I was about to ask you that question. Am I wrong or right?
Yeah.
You're right. A lot of men think that once you marry the woman that it's over, game over. But in actuality, that's just only the beginning. Okay, you can get a wife, but the trick is, can you keep the wife? And same thing goes for the wife. You can get a husband and do everything right and have your representative, for the first year and be on your best behavior. But the thing is, can you keep the husband? Like my mom always taught me, when your husband comes home, make sure you're showered, you look decent. Don't wear them goddamn muumuus and granny panties. Make sure you always keep it spicy, keep it interesting, because at the end of the day, if you won't, the next bitch will.
Well,
and that's
back in the day, Grace, that was the way that women were. The woman would never let her husband come home and see her looking scraggly and looking crazy. As a matter of fact, the women would actually get dressed up and wear makeup and do their hair for when their man came home, so that he would see her in a certain light. We've gotten so far away from that. I say this especially to a lot of young guys when they're dating. When you get ready to take this beautiful woman out on a date, I always say you shit test her immediately. When you go pick her up, or when you meet her at the venue and she's looking all good and done her hair and she got that dress on and all that, you ask her, did you wear that for me? And if her answer is no, we already know what time it is. She's selfish. Get rid of her. Because if her idea isn't that she came, she doesn't want to impress you. She doesn't want you to look at her, and she doesn't want you to like her. That this is about me. Just how she's going to be in a relationship. She's going to be a me girl. This is about me. You should be here for me. No, when I don't go get my car washed and shave my head and line up my beard and put on cologne and take a shower and wear the best for me. No, I'm trying to impress you. I want you to like me. So there used to be a point in time where men came home. They knew they was coming home to the baddest because he was in her house. He was in his house. She was waiting on him. Hey,
he has a good point there.
Go have drinks with the fellas. Nah, bro, I gotta get home. I know what I got at home. Versus now, where you got men sitting out in the driveway but don't want to go in the house.
That's and that's sad. But no, my mom used to take her shower, do her hair, do beauty salon once a week, nails, toes, everything on point. But I also would hear my dad tell my brother, "You see that one right there? She ain't going nowhere." And my dad would ask, "Well, why not?" And he would say, "Because I take care of every need that she could possibly need before she even knows it. I'm on it."
See, I used to have a little check with a woman when I took her on a first date. I don't do this anymore because I know a little better. But I got this from a movie idea. Like I used to tell them my power locks is broken. It won't open, so I have to open it the old school way to let her in. If she reaches over and opened my door for me, because my locks.
Oh yeah, that's broken. From the Bronx Tale. Absolutely.
That's what I got it. Yeah, I used to use that actually. That's what I got it from. I'm not going to deny it. I got it from a movie. I'll be straight up. But I used to say my car, power locks are broken. I got to do it the old school way. And she reaches over, yep. If she doesn't reach over, yeah, I'm not going to see her after tonight. She doesn't even bother. She doesn't care.
Yep, she's just there for the meal. And the thing is, it's really sad because you miss out on a lot of good men for silly shit. But I am a visual person, so if I'm on a date with you for the first time, I'm checking out to see if you got a haircut for me. I'm checking out to see if you wore cologne. I'm checking out to see what kind of outfit you put together. Because if you took the time and effort to look good for me, because I know I'm gonna do it, then okay, this guy's really into me. He you know what I'm saying? If he it's just there's things that you have. Like I taught my son, me and my son would go on dates and I would tell him, okay, you open the door for the girl. You do this. We went to Applebee's one time and I said, this is where you go to take a girl out on a first date and to get to know her. Then we went to our favorite steakhouse where it's easily $400 for two people. I said, this is the kind of restaurant you take a girlfriend for her birthday, her anniversary, or who's been giving you cheeks 6-9 months straight. You want to show appreciation. I mean, I keep it real with him. I told him, girls ain't shit. They're manipulative. They'll use you if you allow them to.
Yep.
Go for the girl that likes you. The one that asks you, how was your day? Are you hungry? Do you need anything? Instead of going for the girl with the fat ass and the big titties who don't give a shit about you and is only going to call you because she needs a ride to go somewhere. And as soon as she gets her car, you ain't going to be nothing but chopped liver.
See, here's the catch one I want to say to this. If let's say you use my hair, for example, like if we're supposed to go out, whatever, and I tell you, listen, I'm not getting a haircut because I'm growing my hair so I can donate it. Would you say that he's out of the running?
No, well, that's different. Sweet. I mean, that's different, and that will come up in conversation. Mm-hmm. I'll tease you and be like, damn, I guess you missed the barbershop appointment today. I'll break the ice, and then that's when you'll let me know what's going on. But it's like, okay, perfect example. My son graduated a couple weeks ago. I'm running to the mall to buy a whole new outfit. I'm going to wear a suit, get all dressed up. But then I happened to see a little simple spring dress that I bought. So I tell my son, okay, which one? I said, Mom, just wear the dress. Where are we going? This is not, but I'm so used to being in the generation where my mom used to dress me up to go to church just to go on an airplane ride. I come from that generation where we dressed up and looked decent wherever we went at all times. I mean, he was right. God bless his heart, because it was so hot over here in Atlanta and we were outside, I would have died with that blazer and the pants. But I needed a suit anyway. You know, you have to have a black suit on hand for all purposes intended. You know.
And you work in an office setting, right?
Yeah, but I work from home, so I go to work in my pajamas. And you know, I go to work in my pajamas. But the fact remains is that he's such a simple and basic kid that he was like, Mom, you don't need all that. You're already beautiful. The dress is good. Wear some high heels, because when we take pictures, I'm 6'4", you're 5 feet. It's gonna look weird. Just wear the high heels. I'm like, okay. But the thing is, Travel One made a comment, said, Grace, black women don't think like you. What is that supposed to mean? Make me understand. What make me understand? Black women don't. Well, how am I thinking? I'm thinking like a woman.
She's thinking like she
guess what, Travel
wants to be a good parent.
Black women don't think like you either.
How
about that?
I mean, okay. Appreciate. I don't like. I'm not used to the super chats because you know I'm not monetized yet. But let me go ahead and read them out. I see one from Through the Fire podcast. Let me hold on a second. He was addressing you. Okay. Through the Fire. Salute to Trey for being on point. Absolutely.
Get the collection plate right on that side. Nigga, get it around on that side.
Thank you for supporting the network Through Fire on Pot. Well, you support everybody on the family, so that's what I be doing too. So but thank you for that. So we're gonna go. I think I got some more videos. Let's break up the monotony and let's watch another video. BMU, roll it when you're ready. Embrace. What did your boo think about the dress? Can you stop?
I got my drink in my two-step. Hey, from the jailhouse to the courthouse.
Y'all gonna leave me alone for that.
Hey, black man, you missed. He dropped the hard eyes earlier. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that?
Y'all ain't shit. Can we run the tape?
Hold on, let me see. We dropped some hard eyes earlier?
Who?
I can't remember if it was on this one or if it was on the last one. If it was on our page.
It was the last one.
He dropped some hard eyes for her.
Yes, he did.
Wait a damn minute. Hold on.
Stop, Trey. You see, this is how rumors are gonna get started, okay? And there's a lot of ladies that like JT.
Nah, Grace, eat this because y'all was having a field day with me and Anissa. Oh, y'all had all the jokes. Oh, y'all was having
You know,
good
when
time.
I first came to the network, I actually thought you were dating her. I really did.
Why in the hell would you think something like that?
I didn't know you guys that well, but now that I know.
Hey, boy, we used to have a field day with y'all ass, boy. That shit. Oh, there we go.
There's her, man.
There it is.
Y'all stop, okay? Alicia's like, what is going on? You'll put it together, hon. You'll put it together.
She family now. She finna know all the business. All right.
Oh, don't worry, Alicia. They gonna find somebody for you soon. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Trust me, I got my shit when wife and me were talking about it.
No.
How can a woman live like this? I think you have to start it from the beginning, BMU. We didn't see the room. Look at this room. And she keeps throwing.
Something's wrong with her.
Is she sick?
Yeah, she must be.
No.
So you're saying that's a mental illness?
No,
she's
bald, like she have cancer or something.
She's eating the food and throwing the packages and stuff on the floor. He said he wants a damn divorce because she's filthy.
Now imagine kids living in that.
No.
Was it do death do us part, richer or poor or dirtier?
She laughing at his ass.
Oh.
But you know what, Grace? He's the
What?
problem. He's the problem.
Because he keeps cleaning it up?
He's enabling her. He's the problem. Because if she did that to me, baby, you'd live in that filth. And I'd close the door. I'd close the door and leave you in there. And I go on and live my life. Because you obviously aren't that bad if you can sit up and eat. If you can sit up and eat, we can put a trash can beside your bed and you can put that stuff in the trash can. It's just utterly disgusting. But he's the problem here because he's enabling it.
But imagine, because the kids won't be too far behind. There's going to be kids living in this environment.
Oh, he's having intercourse with her? Can imagine. She can't be washing herself if she's doing that. Oh, come on. He doesn't love himself. He doesn't love himself.
Hey, Alicia, there's a phrase that says how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so I wonder if she lives her life like that. How does everything else around her?
It has to be. If you don't, you're eating and you throw something on the floor, that lets me know you don't wash your ass good. You probably laying in that bed for 2-3 days before you even bother taking a shower. And we're talking about he better be cheating.
Grace, to be honest with you guys, like I dated a girl who was similar like that. I mean, this was going back. I was in my early 30s at the time. Damn, I fucking feel old. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. So I remember going over.
She's traumatized.
Going over her house the first time, and I'm like, okay, maybe she's a little messy because she has a child. Okay, whatever. It was all over the place. I didn't really pay a mind to it. But when I walked into the bathroom, there were dirty diapers up to here. I am not joking. I go, what the fuck? So I called her out and I'm like, what's up with the dirty diapers? I haven't time to clean.
But you got a time for a man to come over to your apartment.
House, yeah, pretty much. I looked at her like, yeah, I'm not coming over again. I'm like, why? He goes, I don't know, maybe because the dirty.
Bitch, you dirty.
And you're nasty. And look at this fucking house. You're judging me. Like, yeah, I'm fucking judging you straight up. I'm not gonna fucking lie. I'm judging you like the fuck out of you right now.
Let me do the dip and sniff test. I bet you I'll judge you then. Oh my God, that's crazy. My mama always taught me to clean your house like your mama's coming over. It shouldn't matter if you have company coming over. If you clean and tidy up every day, you know, it shouldn't be a matter. Now, well, I was perfect with it. Not really, because I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I didn't have chores growing up. I grew up with maids and nannies. I didn't really have to do shit. I took off my uniform. By the time I got out the shower, there was another uniform pressed and hung for me for the next day. I really had to learn how to do everything on my own when I moved out and went to college. I was lost in the sauce. And that is why it's not good to always do everything for your children or have everything done. I would call home and like, Dad, how do you make your marinara sauce? How do you do this? How do you do that? Because my mom never wanted us in the kitchen. She didn't want her kitchen dirty. And I'd be like, it's not like you're cleaning it. The maid is going to come to clean. My mom would clean before the maid would come to clean. I'm like, my dad would be like, make that make sense to me. She's like, no. I'm like, but I really had to learn how to grow up and be on my own. And it wasn't easy, guys, but I had to learn. And guys look at that. Guys look at the bathroom. Guys look how you keep your kitchen. Guys will look at how you're cooking. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa, girls. If I go to a guy's house and his bathroom is dirty and he knew that I was coming over.
His car is clean, but his bathroom is dirty.
Alicia, there's some times where I would stop running errands and go back home and go use the restroom because I refuse to use a public restroom. If I'm in town and I'm local,
I was the only one.
Yep.
I would do that. I refeel like Walmart bathroom. I mean, I know which bathrooms I can go to and feel comfortable. But if I'm less than 3 miles away from home, I'm going home.
My baby had the little porta potty, baby potty seats in the car when we went out. We were gonna be out for a while. So she was about 4 or 5. So she could hold it.
So you guys are gonna make fun of me. I'm gonna say this out loud. I don't give a shit already. So when I have to go, to the bathroom in public, when I take a big dump, so I take toilet paper. I wrap the fucking seat. I'm not joking you.
It's a mummy now.
I'm dead serious. Like, I am so paranoid, and because there are a lot of diseases you can catch just sitting on a toilet.
Especially a woman where everything is internal for us. Well, me, number two, I don't even do it in public unless it's an absolute, like, I can't.
When you hover squat.
I will drop what I'm doing, grooming, and I will go home because I'm the type that I like to shower, right? So I have trained my body to do that in the morning and then just jump right in the shower.
Number two? No.
Yep.
I don't know.
And then I have wipes. And then I use wipes. I use toilet paper, and I go far with it because that is, my mom told me that. She was like, Grace, you're heavy. There's nothing worse than a woman to a man to smell bad. And she jumped in the shower with me with her bathing suit and taught me how to wash that box. And what's funny is I use that same method with my son. I went in with a bathing. We had to stop taking showers together when he was 8 because he was starting to get, I'm like, ooh, we have to stop. You're getting an erection. But when he started going through his puberty and all these different smells, I got on because he would come out the shower and be like, you still smell like a Funyun. What's going on around here? So I put on my bathing suit and I jumped in the shower with him and I taught him how to scrub with a washcloth. You see, we use washcloths around here and we use 2, one for your face, one for your body. And you take the soap and you go down. I mean, I really taught it. I mean, you go down there and you wash. And then I would tease him. I said, do you want a girl to give you head? He was like, yeah, mommy. I said, okay, well, you got to make sure them balls are clean, the penises, everything is clean. And till this day, he laughs. He's like, Mom, you're crazy. The things you did to teach me. I'm like, but are you good now? Do you know how to bathe with no problem? Have you ever gotten teased at school because you smell? No. I said, okay, then my job is done.
This isn't uncommon though. One of my first calls when I was stationed in Alaska, in Anchorage, Alaska, was to a home.
My mom's there.
Oh really? Yeah. I used to live in Anchorage for 3 years. But one of the first calls I got was to a home where the house had not been cleaned in probably 3 or 4 months. They were literally taking the trash and just stacking it. Their garage looked like a landfill. They were stacking. And I want to paint a picture for y'all. This is Anchorage, Alaska, in the month of November. It's extremely cold. It's very cold in November. In November, it's very cold. There were flies flying around in their garage in the middle of the winter. That's how much trash they had. There was cat poop everywhere. There were period panties on the floor. This was one of the most disgusting houses I've ever been in. We would later come to find out that his wife had a mental illness, which probably had something to do with the cleanliness of the house, but he was also there as well. But this isn't uncommon. I dated a woman one time. I had never been to her house. She lived in Delaware. We always used to meet in DC. She lived in Delaware. One time I decided to drive up to go see her. And I'm telling you, I could smell it outside before I got into the apartment. And it smelled like cat piss. And I was just like, because she had cats. So I just naturally assumed that she took care of them. No, that ammonia cat piss smell was like reeking outside her apartment. I wouldn't go in. And I remember just saying like, come on, let's just go out. But then I just got to the point where I was just so turned off. I was like, you know what? I got an early morning in the morning, and I made up any excuses to get out of there. And I couldn't believe it because obviously I'd never been to her house. Fellas, you absolutely have to go to her home. You have to go to her home and see how she's living.
And you have to do a pop-up, because a lot of times you tell us you're coming over and they may clean right before you get there. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody knows I have a dog. I have 13 plugins in my little 911 square feet apartment. Okay, I burn incense. I burn candles. One trick that I do, if you guys don't know, is I boil Fabuloso in a pot and let it boil.
Oh, okay.
And so when I finish cleaning and vacuuming and everything, I only have a pot just for that. I put water and fabuloso. I put it on number 3 and I just let it boil out. And then anything that's left over, I take, and that's when I wipe down all the counters. No, when I was younger, it was bad because I was spoiled as a kid. I didn't have chores to do. But as I gotten older, it makes me nervous when things are not in order. And if I put something down here, this is where I expect it to be. Everything has its place. I get it that nobody's perfect. If I end up moving, that's definitely a black thing. You are black, Embrace. What? The fact that I burned Fabuloso?
Greeks, what are you talking about? My mother does it all the time. I was about to ask you, did you talk to my mother lately?
And it's like, it makes me nervous. Like when my son would be here with me on the weekends, I would not be at peace because he's messy and he's lazy and he leaves the top of the peanut butter open, doesn't close things. Now that he's gone, I'm getting but he's young and he'll get it because I told him ain't nobody gonna want to live with you in the dorms. You living like this, your girlfriend gonna put you.
As my son's grooming and reviews, obviously, I speak to a lot of men who don't know how to groom themselves. Like, tell me, oh, we use the same soap. I go, you're not supposed to use the same soap. You're supposed to use a different type of soap. Sanitation reasons. They're looking like, I'm not doing all that. Okay, then have a stinky dick. Simple as that.
And that's why you don't get head because you got the stinky dick.
Hey, look, Grace, you tell him this. You tell your son if she's a good girlfriend, she'll come clean your dorm room for you. Okay, that's what you tell him. She's a good girlfriend. She'll come knock it out.
She is. He got her mama coming cooking for him. She got both of them eating. The only thing is that there's a language barrier. I didn't teach my son how to speak Spanish because I don't really a lot of people don't even know that I know how to read, write, and speak Spanish. That's actually my first language. I had to learn
Italian, to be honest with you.
I am Italian, but
I thought you were 100%.
No, I'm half Dominican, half Italian, and my mom didn't speak English. So all she taught to me was in Spanish. When I went to kindergarten, I had to take ESL, English as a second language. So as a kid, they took me out of all the good classes, finger painting, going to recess. I had to go to this little room with Mrs. Gilbert for 4 years to learn how to speak English. And then on top of that, my dad made me go to speech therapy because he didn't want me to speak with a Spanish accent. So you see, you can't even tell. Unless you saw me, you would assume that I'm Spanish. Pero yo hablo español muy bien y nadie me entiende. you know? They're like, damn.
Grace,
you know how
I
to
have
speak
a serious question for
Spanish?
you.
Good, and
I have a
you
serious
don't
question.
understand?
Yeah, I have a serious
Yeah,
question.
there you
Very
go.
nice. Right. So, look at me
Un
for a second.
poquito, yo
Serious
sé un
question.
poquito. Yo tengo muchos años ago un novio dominicano novio.
Oh, so te gustan los dominicanos. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
It's a que rico.
What were you going to say, Peter?
Okay. I need your serious attention for a minute. How hard do you throw the chocolates at people?
How hard do I what?
Throw the chocolates. I'm pronouncing it wrong. The sandals.
I don't, chancletas.
Yeah, thank you. How hard?
Yeah, I didn't got some of that ass beat what time by chancletas. Hard. Yes. Or they get thrown across the room. And I don't know how my mom
special training and like a boot camp for that shit. And like I seen people like literally by accident throw it.
It's a martial art.
Bounce something. I hit somebody. They're like, how the fuck did you aim that shit? He goes, it was an accident. Bullshit. That was a fucking marksman.
I told you my mom threw a 5-pound salami at me and hit me right in the back of my neck. It forced I hit the screen door wide open and the bus is there with everybody watching me trip down the stairs with a salami rolling down the driveway. The fact that I remember that so vivid, that's trauma, guys. That is trauma. Okay? That was some crazy shit. But now, speaking of that, I'm going to bring out 8 things that toxic mothers or parents have a tendency to do. The first one is constant, harsh criticism. And I used to get that a lot from my mom. You're too fat. You need to stop eating. I'll say, but you're the same motherfucker that's feeding me. I mean, make that make sense. I said I'm half Dominican, half Italian, so we're eating rice and pasta. It was all about carbs. 1 minute you're telling me this, but a controlling behavior, when parents tend to be so controlling to the point where it causes a child trauma. And this is how I learned never to be a controlling parent. I had a roommate in college. She was raised by her grandmother. And all she would do be locked in the house, reading and doing schoolwork. And that's great. She got a 4.5 GPA, full ride scholarship to Florida State University because I went to FAMU. Okay. It was like letting a caged animal free when she was in college. She ended up sleeping with the whole football team, the whole basketball team. She did every drug in the book. She lost her scholarship. She got pregnant. So when we tend to be so controlling and then leave them out in the world and not prepare them for the world, they don't know how to act. I used to catch myself getting home early when I was in school just because I was so used to getting that page and listening to my dad, ain't nothing open but legs after midnight, and I'll be damned if they're yours. Your body is your temple. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That I would be home by 2, 3 in the morning, where all my roommates would be in by 6 or 7 in the morning. I just wasn't that type of girl. I mean, did I party some? Now, when I turned 18, because when I was in college, I was still 17. So a lot of them would go to the club, and I was still at the house, but they didn't know that me and my boo was chilling. He'd come over while they all go out. You know what I'm saying? But the fact remains is that you can't be too controlling. You got to allow your kid to be exposed to things. My son traveled by himself on an airplane when he was 8 years old. I was nervous as hell, but I'm like, I'm not going to stop him from seeing his grandparents because he's underage. I couldn't wait till he turned 16 when he could, travel by himself. But we made it happen. I let him go out with his friends. The only real thing I really didn't do was sleepovers. I don't trust sleepovers because they're touching kids and even boys too, But Mom, we're going to Grand Prix tomorrow. Can I go with them? And I always tell them, I'm not taking you and dropping you off. You better arrange one parent to either take you or pick you up, and I'll do the other one. They got to be involved too. I would force parents to be involved because I'm not doing all the work. So which one are they going to do? Are they going to take y'all or are they going to pick you up? I usually end up picking them up because I didn't mind picking them up at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. My son, he would have a curfew, but it was contingent upon what he was doing and where he was going and his maturity level. There's some kids that are not mature enough and they have to be in at the same time. But if he's going to a concert and the concert don't start till 9 o'clock, okay, you have to be home by 1 o'clock in the morning. Mom, really? I said, yeah. But sometimes he wouldn't even make it till 1 because the other friends had to be home earlier. But I would give him that safe space. And you have to allow that to your kids. Number 3, guilt tripping and manipulation. Oh, I feed you, I clothe you, I do this, I do that. You're supposed to do that. Yo, my son said that to me one day. I was so upset with him. I said, aren't you happy that I do this, do that, do that? He's like, but Mom, you're supposed to do that. You're the parent. You're the adult. And I'm telling you, I learned a lot from my son because I've taught him to express himself. Just remember, always come at me with respect. You are able to say whatever you want. And he will come at me and be like, well, Mom, you're the adult. You're supposed to do that. I'm only 13. I can't do all the things that you do. I say, yeah, but that don't mean I got to feed you steak. I can make spam for you. That don't mean I got to have internet and cable and all these other luxuries. We could not have, I would rebuttal with that with him. But humiliating. That's another toxic thing that we do to our kids when we humiliate our children, especially in public. Now, when I showed that video about the father going off on the son because he was flashing, weapons and stuff like that, I agreed with that because if you want to act grown on social media, then I'm gonna bring you down on social media. But there's a lot of other humiliation tactics that a lot of parents do that are very traumatic on children. Not validating your child's feelings and emotions. Oh, I'm the adult. Do what I say. And I really love the fact that I did this research today because it confirmed to me I did a lot of right things. I know I wasn't perfect, but at the end of the day, I knew that I was the adult and I was the parent. But I will always include my son in life-altering decisions. You know, I would hear his feedback because I was making him practice being a man. I would never throw in his face, you're the man of the house, but I would allow him to express himself and be a man, a young man. Like, I was talking about buying him a car. And he was like, Mom, you don't need to buy me a car right now. One, I'm only 15. I can't drive by myself without an adult. Two, you already have your car and you don't go nowhere. You always let me use your car. So there's no need to spend money on a car. It would be better if you buy me a car once we depart from each other. And that's when I'll need This was coming from a 15-year-old, ladies and gentlemen.
Very wise. Very wise.
That boy spoiled.
How is he spoiled? I didn't get the car for him.
When I wanted the car.
You had an option. You had the option.
There you go, Alicia. When I was coming up, if I wanted a car, I had to go work for it. And I had to save my money and buy my own car. My first car was a hoopty. When I say that thing was a bucket, it was a bucket, but I saved my money and it was my car. I scored. Yep, and I earned it. And I think
I can't say it.
I think that's.
But the thing is, he's been working, Trey, since he was 14 years old. And every year he got older, I tagged on another bill. So when he was 14, I stopped paying for his haircuts, underwear, socks, and deodorant. I mean, how many times do you have to buy those things? But he was only 14. He didn't get a lot of hours. Then when he turned 15, he had to pay for the Netflix bill. That was his bill. Then when he turned 16, he had to pay for his own cell phone bill. You know, every year he got older, and now at 18, he's like, damn, Mom, now I got to pay all the bills. I say, yeah, you do. Welcome to adulting. You can't spend $23, $30 on Chick-fil-A. You can't go to Chipotle because he would eat his whole paycheck. His whole paycheck was on food. But again, by me allowing him to make decisions and give feedback, it empowered him. And a lot of times we just do not consider a child's emotions. You don't think what your decision, you don't include in the child in your life-altering decisions and stuff like that. So it's really sad. Number 6, passive aggression, such as the silent treatment. Who does that to a child? Why do we do that to children? I used to say to Jordan, hey, we need a 24-hour cooling period. We'll come back and address this tomorrow. But that wouldn't mean I wouldn't still not cook his dinner. That wouldn't mean I still wouldn't do things that had to get done. But a lot of mothers just stop being mothers. And guys, I know the list that I'm going down is kind of touching people because it touched me. Next one is disrespect of personal boundaries. Now, I don't do too well with this one because nobody locks doors in my house. My son called himself trying to lock a door. And I said, oh, no, we don't lock doors around here. But when he started getting older and he started doing you know what, I started knocking because I walked in one day on him and I didn't want that to happen anymore. You know what I'm saying?
That's the difference between a mother and a father. My son just tried this locking the door, and I unlocked it and took the door off the hinges. So he has no door. That's the difference.
My dad,
mother and father. He has no door now. He has to earn.
Yeah, but door. I didn't want to walk in on him doing you know what. I mean, that's something
if he's brave enough to do that with no door, then you know what, you achieved that climax, sir. You're a brave soul to do it with no door. But
it says here the disrespect of personal boundaries. I'm having a little bit of trouble with that because I don't think anybody under 18 and you ain't paying no bills, you ain't got no personal boundaries. But they say that it is a toxic behavior that we do towards our kids. I don't know what personal boundaries a child should have.
I think children's personal boundaries should be respected. You know, I'm going to have a daughter eventually who's going to grow up to be a teenage girl, right? So there are boundaries that I'm going to need to respect, right? But boundaries don't include isolation. My thing is that you're not allowed to isolate yourself from the family. That's not how that works. So you closing your door and locking it and putting yourself away, that we don't do that in my home. And so that's a no-go. But I do understand the personal boundaries. Now, I will say, from a father to a son, I think that you need to press those personal boundaries a little bit. You know what I mean? I think you need to you need to show your son to listen. You have to share the space with another man. I think women need to do that with their daughters. You have to share the space with another woman. But I do think the dynamic between a father and a daughter, even now, I do it now. She's 5. You know, she will push the door and say, "Hey, Dad, I'm changing. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad. You know, my bad. All right, I'll step out." You know?
Well, my dad took it to the next level. My dad never changed my diaper as a baby. He just said he felt uncomfortable. He had 3 daughters, me and 2 other ones, and he never changed their diapers. And he would always knock before coming in my door. Now, if he was pissed and I was about to get an ass whooping, ain't no knocking. Okay, he already know I had books in my pants, trying to avoid getting whooped. But my dad took it to the next level. He never changed my diaper. He just didn't want nothing to do with that because he was so respectful, and I loved him for that. I'm like, Dad, it's okay. You can come in. He was like, nope, I'm good. You know, and he'll look inside and he'll be like, clean this shit up. But he never would come in my room. He would, and if he did want to talk to me, he would just hit on the intercom and be like, Grace, come downstairs. We need to talk. I mean, he was just such a respectful man.
Jesus, how rich were you, Grace?
Stop. Just stop.
See,
Stop.
my father only changed me one time.
She's talking about maids and intercoms. How rich were you?
I mean, my dad was a factory owner. He invented a machine that ended up doing twice the labor with less manpower. Now think, he was the janitor of the factory. And he's your typical rags to riches story.
He was sitting on that idea for years. He's like, I got you.
He was a machinist, and he learned, the factory while he was cleaning it, and he invented something, got a patent, and ended up the factory went global. And he ended up, so my 2 sisters, they grew up while my dad was making the money. Me and my brother grew up while we were living off of the money. That was the difference. But it kind of did a disservice. Well, no, not really, because I got a job behind my dad's back when I was 15. He refused to let me work. No daughter of mine is going to work. I'll pay you to stay home and take care of your mother. No, I'm trying to get out the house. I don't want to be with mommy dearest. You know? And he found out I got a job because one day I forgot to change my uniform. I was so tired because I would go to school, go to basketball practice, and then go to work and then come home. So one day I looked down and he looked at me and he was like, what the fuck is that you got on? And I looked and I'm like, oh. I looked at Mom. My mom was like, I ain't got nothing to do with it. So he was like, oh, so you've been working. He turned around and looked at my mother. You know about this? And she just put her head down. So the next day he came to my job. I was bagging his groceries, and nobody could tell that was my dad because we were so different. And I was shaking. I was so scared. I'll never and the cashier said, Grace, what's wrong with you? Why are you shaking? And I said, sir, do you want paper or plastic? And he made it so hard. I want all the heavy cans and paper. I want everything on plastic. So we're walking out because this is a grocery store in Florida where you walk them out and put their groceries in the trunk. And he throws a $50 bill in the trunk. He was like, that's lunch for you for the week. 1 grade slips and you're done. I'm shutting this whole shit down. And he let me work. And I loved it because it taught me to have my own money, not have to always go to daddy. I'm like, Dad, you bought me a brand new car. I should be able to put the gas in it. Dad, you shouldn't have to pay for my nails and my hair. That's something I should do. And he was like, okay, you know, he let it go by, but he had my schedule posted on the refrigerator. I got caught lying one time. Now he would call the store manager, what's her schedule? I'm telling you guys, my dad did not play, and I give him credit that that's the woman that I am today, because he did stay on my neck. I mean, was he toxic sometimes? Absolutely. It got so bad with us that we couldn't communicate with each other that he started writing me letters, because it was a screaming match, or he'll slap the shit out of me or whatever. But then he realized that he was being toxic. So he said, from now on, we will be writing letters to each other to respond to our thoughts and our things. And that's how we went. And the last one, guys, I want to bring up is the lack of reciprocation. We make our kids do a lot of things, but we won't turn around and do it for them sometimes. I'm like, I've seen parents use their kids as slaves. One of my biggest pet peeve is when the oldest kid has to take care of the siblings.
I knew
they have to cook.
I knew that was coming.
They have to cook for them. They have to iron the clothes. They have to help with the homework. They're the parent. And I get you, Black Man Unfiltered, but that robbed you of your childhood. You didn't fuck them kids. They weren't your kids. I get it. They were your siblings, but I feel that is very selfish and very messed up on putting that responsibility on a 14 or 12-year-old child when they're a child themselves. And sometimes those older siblings will abuse the younger siblings because they felt resentment. Mom was working graveyard, daddy was driving trucks. Yeah, somebody had to do it. I get it, BMU. But I mean, no offense, but I would have just stopped having fucking kids. If you see that you can't take care, I mean, come on. But your parents were probably married, BMU, and they were probably doing the damn thing. But I don't like that, because they grow older faster than they're supposed to.
Yes.
They're exposed to a lot of things, because I really believe in things being age appropriate. My son never had Grand Theft Auto. My son never had those videos. They are still married 42 years. I knew that they was doing the damn thing. And now look at the parent that you are, BMU. But sometimes there's some parents that take really advantage of it. They'll go out to the club. I could see moms was working, dads was working, but there's some moms that are going on vacation and leaving the babies at home alone. I mean, I think we have another video, BMU. Let's run the tape. What we got? How many more videos we got? Okay, here we go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mindset versus Motivation. My name is Carla, and this is the channel where I am trying to help people heal as well as help myself, and go over childhood trauma, how to become more resilient, how to become stronger, how to deal with the effects of your toxic mother or emotionally unavailable mother. And in this video, I am going to show you some examples of how some toxic mothers will act and behave, and how they will not take responsibility or be held accountable for what they do. And you wonder why you never got the apology. They never came to you and said, I'm sorry.
Yep. I never got the sorry from my mom, but I did make sure that I forgave her, though. And I wasn't forgiving her for her. I was forgiving her for me, so I can be at peace. You know, a lot of my family members used to say, well, you know, you don't know what she went through as a child and da-da-da-da. And I kind of heeded to that. But at the end of the day, you know when you're being a fucked up parent. You know when you're doing and saying shit that are not appropriate. Travel One asked a good question. She said, embrace the grace. What traits your parents had raising you do you find yourself doing in your parenting? I whip that ass. I believe in ass whooping. But the thing is, my kid was a good kid. I can only count on one hand how many times I had to whoop him. You know, I tried the timeout shit. That didn't work because I fell asleep and had him on timeout for 3 hours. So he came to me and woke me up talking about, mommy, I got to use the restroom. So never had to do that again to him. When he became older, the easiest punishment was just taking that phone away. I mean, what else do I find? What other traits? I tend to yell sometimes, and I got that from my dad. That's why I don't do very well with yelling, but my son would let me know, Mom, I know you're from New York, but come on, can we tone it down a little? And I thought I wasn't yelling, but to me it was normal talk. He was like, Mom, you're yelling, relax. And I would take heed to it. What else do I find that my parents, well, I was strict with curfew. I kept my kids safe, but I didn't hide nothing from him. I taught him about drinking. Oh, my dad taught me how to drink. He knew I was driving on my own, and he knew that I was drinking with friends. So one Sunday, he was like, what beer do you drink? I said, I drink Heineken. He was like, oh. So you know what he actually did, guys? He actually taught me what my limit was. Until this day, I still drink like that. He told me. We were drinking, watching a game. After the fourth Heineken, he saw I was acting different. He was like, your limit is 2. And after every beer, you drink a bottled water. Do you know that you never leave your drink alone? Till this day, I still drink that way. I've never gotten, only one time, I can't say never. I've never gotten drunk in public. Tossed my cookies one time, and that was in college, but it was always so mindful. Then the next week it was liquor. He's like, what do you drink? I said, Mama, I said, Dad, I drink Hennessy, MD 2020, and Cisco. He was like, so you drink all that ghetto shit. Okay, well, I'll buy it for you, but he taught me about Seagrams. He taught me about bourbon, you know. 7 and 7 was his favorite drink. Seagram 7 was 7-Up. But the thing is that you know your kids are going to drink. Now, drugs, he was like, he used to piss test us. If he thought we were doing drugs, he'd be like a probation officer with the cup at the door. So I was terrified of my father. But he did teach me to drink. Until this day, I appreciate that. So that's one thing I did, travel one I did with my son. I would let him, you know, during the holidays, drink coquito, taste this, taste that, because I'd rather him do it at home with me than do it out with his knucklehead friends and get into something stupid. Well, and you guys cannot cover and sugarcoat shit. Well, go ahead, Trey.
The thought process is to take the allure away from it. That's the reason why you do it. You know, my sister turned 17. We got her drunk. My goal was, before you go off to college, is to take the allure of drinking away. I don't want it to be something that, oh, I got to do this. I want you to say, been there, done that. I'm not missing anything. So that's the reason why a lot of parents will say, no, I'd rather you drink with me. But when in reality, what you're really trying to do is you're trying to take that specialness away from it. So that way, when they go out and go hang out with their friends, I got a buddy who, first time he ever smoked weed, he smoked weed with his dad. So by the time he got around all his friends who were smoking weed, he was like, I've been doing this. It's nothing new. It wasn't that special. So he wasn't so eager to do it with his friends. He would rather smoke with his dad. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the real reason.
I never looked at it that way, but my son came home one day, because I used to tell him, when you get your car, is ash, cash, or grass. Nobody rides for free. I don't care how pretty she is. But he didn't know what grass was. So one day he comes home and he slams his book bag on the pool table. He was like, Mom, I know what grass is. I said, okay. The rule doesn't change. Ask, cash, or grass. Nobody right. I said, you just bring the grass home to Mama. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Then another day he came home. He was like, Mom, I want to see it. I smell it in school all the time. I hear about it. I want to see weed. You know what I did? And like I said, I'm the type of parent, and a lot of parents may not agree with this, but I actually rolled one in front of him, and I taught him, you don't just smoke with anybody you don't know. You make sure you see what's being rolled, or you're going to be like Pookie in the pigeon cage.
Oh yeah.
You know? I mean, I told him, you're tall, you're dark, you're handsome. You're going to have haters, and they're going to lace that. Biggie, can you not do that? They're going to lace it. Now, granted, he doesn't smoke, but the thing is that I did not hide it from him. I did not sugarcoat it from him. And a lot of parents want to do this and do that and forget that they were teenagers. I said, there's no need for you to sneak out. You tell me where you want to go and what you're doing and give me the option to say yes or no. Because if you sneak out, your life is over. You know, I don't never want a police officer to knock on my door and say, well, did you know your son was here? I never wanted that phone call, or I never wanted anything. So all I'm saying, guys, is that we need to do better as parents. We need to take the bad shit that our parents did to us and throw that away. Take the good things that we took from them and apply it. And if we don't know what to do, there's books, there's YouTube, there's a lot of resources there's a lot of things that I had to look up in order, you know, I had a son. So there was a lot of situations that as a woman, I didn't know how to deal with. So I would call my uncles, or I would call, you know, like if I had Trey back then, I would, and he was a cop too. My son was starting to act up, and I called my homeboy. He was a cop. And I said, come arrest him. Put him in the back squad car and take him for a ride.
I would have never done it.
He did it.
I would have never. I absolutely loathe the parents that used to use the police to discipline their children. That used to bother me so.
Well, we were friends. Well, we dated.
I know
so,
that, like I would be out on patrol or be out in the streets or wherever, and like the women, these single moms that would have these kids, and if the child was acting up, they'd be like, "See, they go to the police. I'm gonna tell the police on you." And I would make I would make it my mission to go up to that kid and go talk to that kid and make them, don't be scared of me. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. I don't want you to think that every time you see the police that something's bad and you're going to jail because your mama's got poor parenting skills and she wants to tell you every time you see the police. This is, I mean, the little things like that. I'm not saying that you're doing this, Grace, but this is the little things that this is how you effectively condition and program children. And now every time this child sees a police officer, what do they think? Oh, it's bad. Every time
a negative connotation.
You exactly. You associate something negative with the police because every time I did something bad, my mama said, I'm gonna call the police on you. Look, I'm gonna get this police officer on you. I literally, you know how many times I bought Twizzlers and snacks for these kids? Because I'm like, nope, you will not teach your black son that because he saw the police and he's misbehaving. First of all, let's get something very clear. I don't give a damn how good your kid is. My daughter's damn near an angel. She's mischievous. She's a child. Children are children. They're gonna try you. They're gonna get into shit. It just is what it is. So every time your child gets into something, you screaming and yelling at them and all that. Children gonna be children. And a lot of my family, I got a lot of women in my family. They get mad at me because they're like, "You're not gonna say nothing." No, I'm not gonna say anything. They're children. They'll be okay. But they chasing each other around the house, and I did the same thing when we was kids, running around the house. This is what you do when you finally get to catch up with your cousins that you haven't seen in months. This is what you do. And so some of the stuff we got to kind of relax on a little bit. I'm not saying not to discipline your child. I'm a firm believer that you discipline your child based on what works for that child. Some children need their ass whooped. Some children at whooping their ass ain't gonna do nothing for them. You need to discipline them based on their personality.
Exactly.
But some of the stuff is just kids being kids. And one of the things I want to see kids get back to just being children. Go outside and ride your bike all day. Go play in the fire hydrant.
Go play kickball. Go play tag. Spin the bottle.
Sneak into the swimming pool. I want to see, just go be a child. Because I truly believe that a lot of these kids are missing a childhood because they're stuck on a video game or they're stuck on social media and they have missed an entire childhood that I used to be eager to get up with my friends at 8 a.m. in the morning during the summer, and we'd go ride our bikes for the first 4 hours of the day.
Just be home before the street lights catch you.
That's it.
But the thing is, Trey, it's not as safe as it used to be also. I mean, you said, you know, it's sad. You got to worry about trafficking. You got to worry about drive-bys. You got to worry about, and I get it because I remember my son and his friends in the neighborhood used to play manhunt. I don't. Do you remember what that is? I don't know. They used to play, but not as much. We used to drink water from the water hose because we didn't want to go home. Because once we went home, a lot of the times our parents would say, "Just stay home. Don't go back outside." Nope. No, you go to the corner store, get you a bag of chips, some cookies, and a little one of them Hubba Bubba juices, and you good.
Yeah.
And you good for the day. Because if you go home, there's a chance that they may tell you you got to stay home. And I get it, and I miss that for the kids. We used to go to the park. I mean, there were so many things that we used to do.
Your parents would use this phrase: "You're either in or you're out." That was
Yup.
the phrase they used. You either
Stop letting the AC out the door.
Right, trying to AC the entire neighborhood.
I'm tired of hearing my door slam. You either in or you're out. But for me as a kid, see, I was the opposite. I was the type of kid where my mom knew a curfew wasn't gonna work on me because I wasn't coming home. When I left the house, I was gone. I was gone all day. I would just find stuff because I lived in DC. There was always stuff to do in DC. We could get on the train.
Yep.
Kids could train for free. So because I could ride a train for free, who knows where we'd end up? You know how many times I ended up downtown or in a museum somewhere, Air and Space, Natural History
me out,
Museum.
Trey.
I'm just being honest. But the thing is I got a better education. I got a real life education because I actually really was. I was a terrible child. Like I got what do you call it? Expelled my second grade. I got expelled in second grade.
What'd you do in second grade?
I went to a Catholic. I probably shouldn't even tell you how this. I went to a Catholic private school, and obviously my mom was trying to give me the best education possible. And
We the worst ones in Catholic school.
yeah, and the teacher wouldn't let me go to the bathroom, and this wasn't one of those situations where I actually was like playing around. I legitimately had to go to the bathroom. Like for real, I had to go to the bathroom. Now, back in the day, let's see, second grade, this probably was 80, 89, 90, maybe 91, somewhere in there. They used to put you in the coat closet. If you were misbehaving, they would separate you
and close it.
And close it. Well, I had to take a shit, so I decided to take a shit, and I took a shit right in that coat closet. And they expelled my ass. It's a true story. They expelled my ass from that school, but I gotta give my mom credit. She never made me feel bad about it. She said the same thing to me. You had to use the bathroom and you weren't allowed to. I'm not gonna hold you at fault for that.
Yeah.
She sued that school and she won. She sued that school and she won because they didn't let me use the bathroom. And they tried to rest on this. Well, we had bathroom time and he didn't use the bathroom, and that's just not how the human body doesn't work that way. So she did. She sued. I don't know how much money she got, but I do know that I went to another private school and then she wound up buying a house. I do know she got something.
Hey, a shitty situation turned into a good situation.
Yep.
Literally.
And the other way that they found out that it was me, because there was another boy that was in there, and he had to go to the bathroom too, and he was known for peeing on himself. So I'm just a true story. I'm not making this up. They initially thought it was him because obviously he used to use the bathroom on himself. They took us both. I think this is where the lawsuit came in. They took us both down to the bathroom and literally pulled our pants down and to see which one of us would actually shit on ourselves. Obviously, it was me because I couldn't wipe myself, right? So it was me. That's how they found out it was me. I think that's where the lawsuit actually came from. I think that's what she actually sued him for. But all I know is I wound up going to a Christian private school after that. That was my last year in private schools. My mom put me in public schools after that. And we were in Northwest DC. We moved from Northwest DC to Northeast DC, and we moved into a house. And that's how that happened. So, but yeah, again, like I said, we're not letting children be children. And it bothers me. Jesus didn't want me at Holy Comforter Saint Cyprian was the name of the school, by the way.
Jesus.
It was now, a private
guys,
the best private Catholic schools in DC, but yeah, they made a huge mistake.
I'm going to bring up one more situation, and then we're going to wrap up.
Okay. And I like to bring up one as well.
Okay. What I want to say is, parents, when a child comes to you and brings up, he touched me or he molested me, can we please stop negating the situation? Do kids lie? Absolutely. But is the parents that are dismissive, the parents that tell them, I don't believe you, or you're just jealous of my husband or whatever. It's too many of that. And I'm telling you right now, and I'll be vulnerable with you. That's why me and my mom stopped talking I never saw my mom the same way when I was 9 years old, because she didn't have my back. And not only did she not have my back, she still allowed me to interact with this person at Thanksgiving dinner, at Christmas dinner. I understand why she didn't tell my father, because my father would have been sitting in the Dominican jail for the rest of his life. But the fact that you did not say anything to this man, will still bring him stuff from the States to the Dominican Republic. I'm telling you, till this day, and I told my mother this when I was 15 years old, you better get your shit together and learn how to read and write English, because daddy's not going to be here. I am not going to be the daughter that you're going to need me when you get older, because you were not the mother that I needed you when I was a child. And I kept word to that. I was not going to be, when she was fucking up in Florida and being messy with money and stuff, I made her sell the house, pack up her shit, and go back to DR. I said, I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I can't be doing this gangster shit, going every month collecting money for you, you know, because they're not paying you. You know, you need to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not embarrassed to say this, because I broke the chain. That experience, I told my favorite cousin. My cousin told her mother, which is my auntie, which is my godmother, and then she told my mother. That's hard when the person that you look at is supposed to be the number one ace in your hole and take care of you, and causes abandonment issues. I went to therapy for that. I really did. And I'm putting myself out there and being vulnerable with you guys, because you have to embrace this fuckery. He did what he did. I mean, thank God it wasn't that serious, but it was serious enough where he opened my eyes on a sexual level at 9 years old, where it shouldn't have took place. And then here I got my dad whispering in my ear, your body is your temple. Your body is your temple. Your body is your temple. But then this happened. But let me tell you what, they got into a head-on collision. My mom's tongue was split in half, and they had to actually sew it back together. And I told my mom, that's God punishing you for not speaking on my behalf. And then he was sitting in the middle, and he lost an eye. I said he lost his eye because he was looking at little girls. So God, revenge was taken upon my mom's tongue caught circulation, and they sewed it, but she was never able to speak the same. It reminded her of the accident every day. And to me, I was satisfied with that. Yeah, bitch, you should have said something. Maybe you still would have had your tongue.
Grace, Grace, hold on, guys. But you know something, Trey? What needs to happen for the moms, though? A lot of times the mom find out about it and try to handle it on their own and don't tell daddy. If that happens to my daughter and her mama don't tell me, we're gonna have a fucking problem.
Well, that's what I wanted to speak on, because
that motherfucker
having taken these reports, I actually disagree with you, Black Man, because I've been in these situations where you get the call where there's some sort of assault that's happened to a minor, and dads fly off the handle immediately, and you haven't actually done the full investigation. Now, I'm not saying that the child is lying, but there is a possibility that they may be mistaken, right? So you need to do a full, and I'm serious, you need to do a full, thorough investigation before you go take somebody's life and come to find out that it was just a mistake. I've seen it happen. And I'll give you a tip. One of the things you can do if they're a small child, have them draw you a picture. They say, hey, draw this for me. Where did it happen? Right? I know you guys have watched Law and Order before. That is a real tactic that we do use. Where we say we take the doll or we take the teddy bear and we say, show me. That's a real thing. That's an actual real thing. We actually do that with small children. If they're an old enough child where they can write sentences, have them write it out. Tell me what happened. What did it feel like? And if they're older, if they're a teenager, ask them, what did it feel like? Describe it. What did his breath smell like? Right? What did he smell like? Because at that age, they're able to describe a lot of things. You just start to ask a lot of these questions. You'll start a person who's been assaulted at that level. Their story sounds exactly the same every time you ask them, because it actually happened. So if you ask them today, what does breath smell like? And say, oh, it smell like beer. And then if you ask them 2 months from tomorrow, what did breath smell like? It smelled like beer. Okay, this more
Then
than
you
likely
know they're telling the truth.
This more than likely probably happened, right? This more than likely probably happened. I just would say my advice to parents: slow down. I know that your feelings are involved, and especially as far as I have a daughter, and I'm telling you, I'm going to go grab the assault rifle, and I'm loading up. I'm ready. I'm with you, black man. I'm right there, but you have to slow down a second. Let's ask some questions, because there are times where things get a little bit confused and the child gets confused and they don't know what they actually saw or what they're actually describing. And if you ask the proper questions, you'll get the proper answers. Now, if everything checks out, hey, you got to be a father. Go be a father. I ain't got no issues with that. But just take a second. Just take it. I'm serious. I have no issues with a father going and handling business after you've done the work to make sure, yep, this actually happened. My child's not lying. Absolutely not a problem. But if you have any reason, have any doubt, this story's not really adding up. It doesn't really make sense. I would also see what services there are to take that child to a professional. There are professionals. This is all they do is talk to children about trauma, sexual traumas, and things like that. Go take them to a professional and see. I need to know, is my child telling the truth? Because I want to believe them, but I don't. You know what I mean? I don't want to do something to a person who's innocent, because this can ruin people, especially men.
Absolutely,
ruin men. And if they get a false charge, it can ruin them. So we got just, all I say is just slow down a little bit. That's all. Just slow down.
And Trey, that's why I understood why my mother didn't tell my father, because my father would have been like BMU and he would have took out the whole household. But the fact that she did nothing, still had me politic with this man and sit across from him on Thanksgiving dinner, didn't address it. It made me feel that I wasn't worthy. But let me tell you how God turns things around. I already told you what happened to him. The same favorite cousin calls me crying hysterically, and she found out that her son was being touched by a priest, one of the ushers from the church. She was like, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? I said, well, the first thing you do is you make sure that child sees you taking up for him. You find out what happened. You arrest him and you press charges, because when that child sees you standing up for him and believing him and taking action, he's gonna feel safe. He's gonna feel worthy. So to me, I really think that happened to me the way it happened to break the curse in our family. Because I was the first person she called. She didn't even call her husband, because she remembered what happened with me. And I said, do the opposite of what your aunt did, which was my mother. Let it be known. Tell on him. Report him. Charge him. Let that little, and then I suggested therapy, and he's good now. He's thriving. He's in his 20s. But the fact remains is that too many of us, and shout out to Smitty's Corner, where I heard him say one day, we put too much shit underneath the rug that eventually we're going to start tripping over it because the lump is too high. Stop with all the secrets. Go ahead, Alicia. What did you have to bring up?
Ooh, that was intense. Thank you all for sharing.
I know. I didn't know if I was going to bring this up.
No, it needed to be said.
Exactly. What did you want to bring up, honey?
Another toxic trait. Oh my goodness. Parents, whether it be on the phone or social media or even in public, praising their children, but then they'll get home and they won't say 2 words to them. They completely ignore them, completely emotionally absent. Is they like the idea of having kids, but not wanting to parent.
Just like marriage. They like the idea of the wedding and the dress, but don't want to put the work in the marriage.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it, because I remember where I had a lot of parents wouldn't take their kids to practice, wouldn't participate, but would make sure would be there at the game, Gucci down, so everybody can see them, but you're not there when I really need you. You didn't, bitch. Today was your turn to bring the snacks. Where's the snacks?
Okay. Parents out there doing that. The kids see you. The kids see you. They see you.
And now it's your turn.
You think they don't?
Trey, can I ask you a question, dude?
Yes, sir.
maybe it's me, but it seems like more and more that more kids are getting molested now these days than ever. Do you agree with that, being a former police officer?
I think more kids are willing to speak out.
Mhm.
I think in the past,
it was hush hush.
Yeah, the culture was to keep the secrets, right? You know what I find interesting in my family? Every time we sit down and talk with my grandmother, we find out something new about our family. And I'm like, how many goddamn secrets do y'all have? So many secrets, because that was the culture back then. The culture is that whatever happened in the house stayed in the house.
Stays in the house.
Right? And that is not beneficial to anybody.
How do you heal?
I absolutely agree with you, Grace. You cannot fix these problems unless, listen, if you have wounds and you're not addressing the wounds, you're not treating the wounds, you're just leaving them there to fester. Well, typically wounds get infected and they only get worse over time. So grooming, I would have to look at the actual numbers of reports, but I think it has a lot to do with the fact that a lot of these kids are just, to be quite honest, they're just braver. They're just a lot braver to say, hey, look, this actually happened to me. This person, this man or this woman right here, this person, this is a problem because they've done this to me. Now, we still have the kids that are in high school that think it's cool to sleep with the teacher and the whole nine. I don't think that will ever change. I think that's more male biology, right? But at a younger age, I think you have a lot of kids who are saying, look, this doesn't seem right. And it's because the adults, our generation, us as adults, we have told the kids, you won't get in trouble for this, right? We're going to take up for you, like Grace said. We're going to have your back, right? We're going to ask some questions. They're going to be some tough questions. They're going to make you uncomfortable, but we're going to ask the questions. And if everything checks out, we're going to go to bat for you. We're going to make sure that this person is held accountable. And if that means they have to sit in a cell for the rest of their life, so be it. We could care less, right? So I think the kids are just a little bit braver and they're willing to come out and say, hey, look, this person actually touched me and it made me feel uncomfortable.
But the worst is it's the mother that says you're lying, you fucking lying, you're just jealous, you want my husband. And the daughter, there was a video of it once where she was recording her mother, and it was just so heartbreaking because this is really hard to work through. Because
can I tell you what it is though, Grace?
What?
A lot of these, especially the mothers, a lot of the mothers have a hard time accepting that this happened. It's because it's guilt. You caused this problem. You brought this person into the situation, especially in the situation where I tell guys all the time, you guys don't want to date these single moms. Don't ever date a single mom with a daughter. No disrespect, but you are putting yourself in a bad position.
Kevin Samuels used to say that all the time.
You put yourself in a bad position because all it takes is for you to accidentally walk into the bathroom while she's getting out the shower, and boom, it can go left quick, right? It can go left really quickly. So one of the things we have to do here is we have to teach a lot of the men, and we have to teach the women that you have to be very careful in how you vet the people. And so I think what you see, Grace, I think what you're actually seeing is you're seeing the women, their response to the guilt is, well, I'm just going to shut it down and say you're lying. Because if you're not lying, I'm responsible for what happened to you because I brought this person around and I'm not prepared to deal with it.
Okay. I mean, that would make sense. But in my situation, he was a family member. It was her cousin, her male cousin. But if you knew I was there for Thanksgiving, why would you still invite him over? And then I had to sit across the table from him like nothing happened. Again, it is what it is. I got through it. I did not allow it to define who I am as an adult. But let me tell you, it took a long time. Yeah. And I thank God that it didn't mess with my sexuality, you know, because that could have stopped a lot of women from having like I said, it wasn't serious, no penetration or anything like that, but just something that was inappropriate. And you know what? It was my dad's fault because he had bought 2 hotels down in DR, and he had me, my brother, and him in the same hotel room with 2 beds. So I had my own bed, and my brother and him slept in the same bed, but come to find him in my bed in the middle of the night. So that was a slip up on my dad's part, but I guess he just never thought that would happen. But you should have never put a 9-year-old girl with a grown ass man. And then my brother, he didn't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? But the fact remains is that we have to be mindful of the environments that we push. Like my son, he didn't go to daycare till he was 1 and 2 years old, and he can express himself and let me know what's going on. He didn't sleep over nobody's house until he was like 12 years old, where he knows right from wrong. I said, don't let nobody touch you. I don't care, boy, girl, Martian, nobody touches you. Till this day, I asked him when he turned 18, did anybody ever touch you inappropriately while you were growing up? He was like, no, Mom, you wouldn't let me. That's one thing I control. Now, the only friend he slept over was his forever friend right across the street. They were the same age. Both of us only had one son. So they literally grew up together, and I would take care of him when she would go out of town. So we would, but other than that, if I don't know that person, I don't know the parents, he was not sleeping over. I didn't care that he was a boy. Oh, he did Boy Scouts. I had him in Boy Scouts because I wanted him to try everything. He did come to me. He was like, Mom, I'm starting to feel uncomfortable. These white boys are talking about things I'm not really used to. So right there, I pulled him out of Boy Scouts. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to wait around for something to happen. I mean, he didn't.
I feel bad for these kids. I really do. I mean, the sleepover was the jam. I mean, that was the thing, right? Like the Friday night to Saturday morning or Saturday night to Sunday morning. You get all your boys, and you know, for us, we order carry-out food, and we play video games, and we talk to girls on the phone all night. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The party line.
We still to this day laugh about a joke with one of my homeboys. He was a bigger boy. He's a big boy, and it was my birthday, and we had a sleepover at my house. And when everybody's getting ready to get in their sleeping bag, and he takes off his shirt, and his undershirt, he had on a "It's time to work out" shirt. Now he's a big boy; he doesn't work out, but he had this shirt on. It said "It's time to work out," and we laughed all night about that shirt. And even now, 30 years later, we still laugh about that shirt to this day. I mean, I feel so bad for these kids because they don't get to build the memories that we did as a childhood. And one of them came through the sleepovers. You stayed up all night. And to the point where somebody's parent came downstairs and said, "Hey, go to sleep." You know what I mean? And then you still snickered and laughed, and you know what I mean?
I can hear y'all.
Right. I mean, I feel bad for these kids because they don't.
Yep. They'll never know what that is. Now, I didn't sleep over somebody's house till I was 16 years old. But the sleepovers trade that I would have would be with my cousins, because that's who your friends were when I grew up, was your cousins.
Your friends, yeah.
You bring your sleeping bag, they bring snacks, you know, whoever house we was at, they cook. I mean, it was just, you're right, Blockbuster nights. You cannot take that away. You can't take these kids just stuck in a room on a phone and social media. But with that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I'm going to go around the panel. You guys, I want you to do your final thoughts.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
So you said your relationship wasn't good with your mom. How is it now?
Well, my mom passed away. It'll be 2 years in September.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I apologize.
And it's okay, but let me tell you something, and I know it may sound weird, but when she passed away, it felt like a burden was lifted. I no longer had to hold on because I no longer had to blame her anymore. She wasn't here anymore. It's because every time I saw her, I would think about that situation. But in 2019, I flew to DR. I had a Dr. Phil moment with her. I had her sitting right across from me in a rocking chair. And I told her, I forgive you. I forgive you for everything you did, everything you didn't do, the type of mother you are. I don't excuse it. But the thing that hurt me the most is that she never took account of, I never got that apology back. But that's okay. That's okay. And the thing is that, you know, you're supposed to leave revenge upon God, and he'll take care of it. So I hope that she's in heaven and she found peace. But if not, it is what it is. But yeah, she passed away 2 years ago. And it's like, when she passed, the pain, everything went with her. I don't really think about it as much anymore. This is the first time I've brought this up in almost 2 years. But it is what it is. It needs to be heard. I mean, I want people to understand that I don't come up with topics just out of my ass for no reason. There's a reason why I talk about things. If I could save one child tonight and a mother be like, damn, I do all those 8 things that Embrace said, I need to do better, then my job has been accomplished.
Absolutely.
Maybe Trey change the mindset of a young man. I mean, this is what we do this for. Yes, I like to entertain and laugh and key, but at the end of the day, I like to do things so we can, because when we know better, we do better and we become better versions of ourselves. So I guess that would be my final thought. But Alicia, go ahead and we'll go to Peter and we'll close with Trey and we'll wait for next Monday again. So Alicia, what final thoughts you have about all this?
It was eye-opening hearing all of those toxic traits all together like that.
Mm-hmm.
For me, so I hope, like you said, I hope others are watching and it can be eye-opening for them as well. And just try. Start one day at a time. Start somewhere. We're not perfect. No one is. Try your best. That's all we can do. And your kids will see that you're trying. Your kids will see that what you're. They can tell. They know the difference between apathy and empathy. They know. And thank you for your time. Thank you for your vulnerability. Everything.
Absolutely. Groomings and reviews. What say you?
When you're thinking about anything you do with kids, take a deep breath. Look back. Because you might be pulling off the baggage that your parents put on you. The screaming, the yelling, the throwing, the negative comments. Do better. They deserve better. You always can do better. But you can't do better if you continue going the same path. They went right, you go left. Because you need to change that. If you beating them the crap out of them, the same outcome is going to come when they came out with you. They don't want to talk to you. You're getting called all these weird names, and then you lose them in your life and eventually come back. But it's too late. Go to their games. Spend time with them. Play a video game with them if they like. That's what they're into. Throw a football. Take them outside. Get them off their phones. Don't buy them a phone. Make them earn it. Get a job. Make them earn it. They want a car?
Absolutely.
Get a car. If they are getting sexuality, get a cucumber and show them how to put a goddamn condom on.
That's still quite ambitious. A cucumber.
Yeah. Look, I'm not trying to be a grandmother before my time.
With a banana. We should probably
make sure the cucumber is organic.
Yeah. I had to keep it real with him. You got to learn how to put that shit on, because that's when unplanned pregnancies happens. But you're right, Peter, because if nothing changes, if you don't change nothing.
Correct.
I mean, it's a very simple saying, but it says a lot. Nothing changes if you don't change nothing. All right, Trey, take us home, my dear. What say you?
Yeah, my final word is to the men. One of the most important decisions you'll ever make is the woman you decide to have in your space. In my 39 years on this earth, I've learned that women can either be the peace in your day or the stress in your life. And so the decision you make on what type of woman to have in your space, whether she's your girl or your wife, is crucial. Now, I want you to think about that. If she has that type of pull or emphasis in your life, what type of emphasis would she have on your child's life? She's your child's first teacher. So if she's causing stress in your life, what's going to happen to the child? This is how we get to the trifling ass mothers. I'm not blaming men. I believe that the dereliction of the children is both on the father and the mother. You're both responsible. But I think that if the root problem is the woman, we need to choose better women. And so a lot of this stuff can be cut off by just simply picking a better woman. Simply put. And so I appeal to the men to slow down. We talked about that earlier. Just slow down. We know she's fine. The titty's sitting pretty. The ass is fat. The skin is smooth. The hair is beautiful. I get it. I'm a man. I'm right there with you. But you have to slow down a little bit. And let's actually start vetting these women and seeing what they're really about. Does she come from a two-parent household? Great. Was that two-parent household a healthy situation? What kind of mother what did she see? Did she see a mother who catered to her father, or did she see a mother that didn't like her father and verbally abused him, emotionally abused him? What did she see growing up? Just because it's a two-parent household doesn't mean that it was great. If she was raised by a single mother, what was the dynamic of the relationship between her and your father? What type of situation was your father put in that you got that they're not together? Did he leave? Did she leave? We got to start asking some questions about these women and what types of homes they're coming from. Because unfortunately, if you don't, she will have 4 of your kids and she will be pulling down her pants and twerking in a bathroom in front of your kids. That's what will happen if you do not vet these women properly. That's how it's going to end up. So just to the men, not blaming anybody, but we can do a better job of choosing women. Great show, Grace.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I do have a couple final thoughts. Guys, we do need to do better. If you're not ready for children, don't have them. Be mindful. Shout out to take heed to the message when she says 3 minutes before that moment comes, think about making sure he wears a condom or putting on a condom, because now you're bringing a whole human into this situation and you're not ready mentally, financially, emotionally, spiritually. It's not fair to the children, and it's also not fair to the people out here who have to now endure the burdens. So be mindful who you're having kids with. Be mindful who you give your womb to. You know, be in a situation where you're married. I mean, and I know it's hard in this today's age. You know, marriage really is not looking good for the men. I get it. But you don't want to make a woman a single mother. You don't want to have and keep having bastard children out here. It's not fair to the kids. It's not fair. They deserve better. So with that being said, guys, we have an awesome, I mean, y'all better make your snacks early, bring your drinks, because we got a show for y'all tomorrow. It's going to be the mammies versus the hyenas. And it's strictly women's panel. The guys will be in the back supporting and engineering, but it's going to get real. It's going to get real. Women that go against the grain are called mammies, and women that have this fucked up mentality of the modern woman are hyenas, and we're going to talk it out. And we're going to try to make each other understand the thought process and why we think the way we do. Don't forget to check in on Wednesday on JT What We Know podcast. Thursdays is still up in the air, but that's okay. I think me and BMU.
No, it's not.
What you got on Thursdays?
Miss, we have a new show coming Thursday. Miss Israel and yours truly on the platform with you right now, Miss Marika.
All righty then.
Have their first show on Thursday. The name of the show is The Sisterhood Redefined. It will be on Thursday.
Oh, I do my show. I do a show on. I might have to reschedule my shows then, because I can't miss that. Because I go on Thursday nights.
Grace, here's wrong. You do what I do. I got one screen here, one screen there. I do my show on this one. I support on that one. Very simple.
Damn. Well, you all know Friday nights. Friday nights is barbershop night with the men. You know, guys, that's off the chain. Saturday night, Alexis from Texas. And then we got Miss Jenny back. And I know she only comes on once a month, but she had a great show on Saturday. And then Sunday, of course, is grooming and reviews. And Mr. Bennett. And then let's not forget Monday nights is our pain, or the early show. And then Mayhem Mondays with Embrace the Grace. So you guys, we got something for you 7 days a week. So come in, definitely support the network, definitely support the content creators. And don't forget, when they're doing a show on the network, go to their channel and press like, because we need that algorithm too. You know, we here believe in setting a buffet so everybody can eat. That's what we doing over here. Ain't no selfishness over here. So with that being said, guys, thank you very much. All you trifling ass mamas, sit your ass down on Sunday when it's Father's Day. You don't get flowers on Father's Day. Give it to the fathers. You already had your day last month. Get the fuck out of here. So with that being said, guys, have a wonderful evening. Thank you. And stay strong. And remember, when we know better, we do better. Peace. I'm
Love.
causing mayhem every motherfucking Mondays from now on, and I want y'all to bring it. No, you got your man out there doing bigger and better things. Okay? And I blame, Trey asked a good question. How did it get so bad? I blame y'all. Because y'all been sitting on the fucking sidelines, letting these women do this bullshit, not setting boundaries, not telling women no, fuck off. And that's why we do what you allow us to do. You are one I love to hate and hate to love, but at the end of the day, I love you, baby girl. Come on the battle, let's go, please. Let's go. You could be in Marcus, but you might go back limping.